Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening, and regard this route as a fixed route. On the surface, it seems that I realized that I was being followed, and then choose a different way from the past. And want to get rid of the stalker. On the other side, Denzo-sama, we has figured out Kakashi's living habits. A root ninja knelt on one knee to Denzo, and then reported respectfully, Kakashi Hatake's daily life is like a robot, eating in places with many people, sleeping in his jonin apartments. Neither of these 2 places are suitable to attack him. The former, whether it is day or night, there are too many people. However, through a few days of tracking, we found that Kakashi would habitually pass through this alley on the way home. The root ninja took out a simple map of Hidden Leaf Village. Then he pointed out the location of the alley to Denzo. Denzo opened his eyes and glanced at the map. TSK, Kakashi is still too young, too naive, thinking that if he changes a route, we can't follow him. But it might also be a trap he set up secretly. As long as we take action here, we will definitely fall into his trap. Denzo is an old fox after all. He thinks he has seen through Kakashi's careful thoughts. But he thinks that no matter how good the trap is, it's useless, because he thinks Kakashi has underestimated his enemy. Kakashi thinks that there is only one person who wants to deal with him by following him. But he must not know that it is the entire route. And there is also a guy who claims to be Madara Uchiha. The day when Root takes action, he will also appear. A trap, maybe it can trap a rabbit, but can it trap an elephant? Since Kakashi Hatake has gone to great lengths to lure the snake out of the hole, and imprison the snake in the trap cage, then we will fulfill his wish. Denzo squinted his eyes. Just tonight. Take his eyes. But don't expose your identity as a Root member, change all the masks and clothes on your body, sword, kunai, shuriken are also changed to those of the foreign village. Change the disguise to Hidden Rain Village. Denzo sneered. In the past few days, foreign village ninjas have almost all left, only Hidden Rain Village is still in Hidden Leaf Village. Humphrey. It's their Hidden Rain Village ninjas' bad luck, who let them not leave early. Also count Kakashi's bad luck, who let that Madara Uchiha have so many Sharingan in his hand. Denzo's plan is also very simple. First arrange a part of their root ninjas, disguised as Hidden Rain Village ninjas. Then, in the identity of Hidden Rain Village ninja, forcibly take Kakashi's eyes. At the same time, arrange another part of Root Ninja, to assassinate all the Hidden Rain Village ninjas left in Hidden Leaf Village, not one left. And their bodies must be disposed of. In this way, not only can Kakashi's eyes be taken, but also a scapegoat can thrown on Hidden Rain Village. Denzo thinks that old friend of Hanzo will definitely not mind him doing this. A hunting plan for Kakashi. Now, it is already quietly being implemented. Today, Kakashi finally reported to Mikado Hamura. Mikado Hamura issued him a Root Jonin vest and mask, and also recorded Kakashi's name in the Root secret book, and fully implemented Kakashi's new identity as a Root ninja. Kakashi, I need you very much. Mikado Hamura patted Kakashi's shoulder, he sighed. To tell you the truth, Root has always disobeyed my orders. Kakashi, I hope your arrival will add some different colors to Root. Your arrival, I will keep it a secret for the time being. Because for me, you are a trump card. Kakashi, you also have to keep your identity secret for the time being. This is the first order I give you as the leader of Root. Mikado Hamura's meaning is very clear, that is, he hopes Kakashi will become his subordinate. Become a trump card in his hand that he won't play until a critical moment. And then use Kakashi's power to compete against Denzo's subordinates. In the end, he gradually took the power of the Root from Denzo's hands. Don't look at the Hidden Leaf Village F4 always supporting together. But once it involves power, they won't be polite to each other. Ever since Mikado Hamura was arranged by Saratobe Hiruzen to take over the Root, he has always wanted to take the command of the Root from Denzo's hands. But there's no way. He doesn't know what kind of charm Denzo has given to the members of the Root. No matter what method he uses, it doesn't work. Now, Saratobe has arranged for Kakashi to come over. Mikado Hamura feels that this is an opportunity and a breakthrough. If Hamura-sama has no other orders, then I will leave first. Kakashi is an adult, he has been with the third Hokage for so long, and he has also seen some games of the higher-ups of Hidden Leaf Village. How could he not know what kind of idea Mikado Hamura had? Kakashi didn't want to get involved in this kind of thing. The third Hokage would still give him some face. What is Mikado Hamura? Moreover, he has more important things to do. Kakashi's life today is as usual as before, just one more thing to report to Naruto. He solves breakfast, lunch, and dinner outside as usual. And as time goes by, the sky begins to darken. Night is falling. Kakashi didn't wear Root mask, and it's not like he have the mask of Root. He has one hand in his pocket, and one hand holding a little prince. The adult content in the book made Kakashi blush. He doesn't seem to have any guard at all. It has been like this these days. I bought the right book. I didn't expect this book to actually have illustrations. With the dim light of the alley, Kakashi carefully looked at every detail of the illustration. But at this moment, pop! The only lamp in this alley suddenly went out. The already very dim alley was plunged into darkness, and the moon above the head was also covered by a layer of clouds. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. One after another, the sound of breaking through the air began to enter Kakashi's ears. At the entrance and exit of the alley, 2 ninjas stood on each side, and several ninjas also stood on the rooftops of the buildings on the left and right sides of the alley. A total of 7 people surrounded Kakashi. Kakashi's gaze reluctantly moved away from the little prince in his hand, and he carefully put the little prince into his pocket. With one dead fish eye open, he wandered around front and back. Then, he began to take off the forehead protector that covered the Sharingan. Finally, you can't hold it anymore? I thought you were one person, but I didn't expect it to be a group of people. Although the sky was very dark, Kakashi could still vaguely see that their dress was actually Hidden Rain Village dress. If I remember correctly, I have never offended any ninja from Hidden Rain Village, right? Kakashi took out the hand in his pocket. If you don't mind, can you tell me your purpose? The 7 Hidden Rain Village ninjas who surrounded Kakashi were like a group of deaf people. They ignored what Kakashi said. 6 of the 7 ninjas stood in different positions. They each slapped their hands. Ninjutsu 6-sided imprisonment seal array. With a gentle hum of chakra fluctuations. The entire alley was wrapped in a rectangular energy array. 7 ninjas and 1 Kakashi. All were trapped in the energy array. What is this? This is a formation that Kakashi has never seen before. He found that after being trapped by this formation, he couldn't hear any sound outside the formation. Then conversely, the sound inside this energy array, the outside should not be able to hear it, right? They are really well prepared. These guys, do they want to silently kill me in Hidden Leaf Village? Attack! With a shout, 7 people quickly surrounded Kakashi. They attacked Kakashi from 7 different directions. They're not weak. Seeing their agile movements, Kakashi felt a slight sinking in his heart. Where did so many powerful Hidden Rain Village ninjas come from? Aren't there only 2 Jonin and a group of Geinin from Hidden Rain Village in Hidden Leaf Village? Sharingan. Kakashi's 3 tomoe instantly widened, directly causing one of the 7 ninjas who rushed over to fall into a trance. The next second, Kakashi reached into his ninja tools bag and pulled out 4 kunai. Each kunai's end was tied with an explosive tag. Obviously, Kakashi had been fully armed from head to toe. 4 kunai were thrown in 4 different directions. The explosive tags tied to the kunai were very conspicuous. Several ninjas quickly stopped their steps, at least retreated backward, avoiding the kunai and explosive tags. Boom 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 boom, 4 consecutive explosions raised rolling waves of air, blowing Kakashi back a step involuntarily. Lightning-style swarm of thunder beasts. A ninja quickly formed seals, and arcs of electricity surged towards Kakashi like a swarm of bees. The crackling sound of electricity made people's hair stand on end. Earth-style swamp technique. Another ninja slapped the ground with his palm, and the ground under Kakashi's feet turned into a small swamp, trapping all parts of him below the knee. The remaining 5 ninjas all threw a large number of shuriken at Kakashi. Kakashi didn't know if it was his illusion. In his Sharingan's line of sight, he always felt that the opponent's attack deliberately avoided his head. The 8 inner gates open gate. Open. Kakashi instantly broke free from the swamp's restraint, jumped to the top of the formation barrier, and quickly dodged the lightning-style ninjutsu and shuriken attack. His shoes accidentally touched the edge of the formation. The shoes melted a small part as if they had touched a high temperature of no less than several hundred degrees. If he rashly rushed out of the formation, even if he could rush out, his body would probably be severely burned. Humphrey. Copy Ninja Kakashi, you have nowhere to retreat. I thought you would set up traps on your inevitable path, waiting for us to fall into the trap. It seems now that we overestimated you. You didn't set up anything. Finally, a ninja spoke. This was a voice Kakashi felt very strange. He definitely didn't know this guy. You. Who are you? Kakashi landed steadily on the ground, his gaze wandering on each enemy. Isn't it obvious? Hidden Rain Village. A ninja slowly pulled out a ninja sword. Stop joking. Kakashi's face darkened slightly. How can there be a group of foreign ninja village attacking Hidden Leaf Village Jonin in Hidden Leaf Village while wearing their village's headband? He felt that these people could not possibly be ninjas from Hidden Rain Village. The other party must want to frame Hidden Rain Village. At the same time, inside a hotel in Hidden Leaf Village. Angel-sama, you said, we are leaving Hidden Leaf Village tomorrow? The leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village asked Conan cautiously, swallowing his saliva. Yes. Conan responded expressionlessly, we have already collected some information about Hidden Leaf Village, it's time to go back. Mainly because there is Jiraiya in Hidden Leaf Village. Conan was worried that she might run into Jiraiya by chance one day. By then, if she was recognized by Jiraiya-sensei, it would be troublesome. You go and tell those gain in. Conan commanded the leading Jonin with a cold tone. Yes, Angel-sama. The leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village quickly nodded. But just as he was about to turn around and leave, a sudden breaking sound made his pupils shrink. The leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village reacted quickly and quickly reached out to grab. A kunai was caught in his hand. But the next second, his expression changed in shock, bound with explosive tags. Angel-sama. Be careful. Enemy attack. Boom 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 boom. A deafening explosion directly blew up this room of the hotel into ruins, and the leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village was blown out on the spot. Cough cough dot cough. Damn. Who is it? The leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village ninja hurriedly climbed up from the ruins, looking quite embarrassed. He looked forward. Suddenly his pupils shrank again. Alarms rang in his heart. 1 enemy, 2 enemies, 3 enemies. 6 enemies. The people who appeared in front of the leading Jonin of Hidden Rain Village were 6 mysterious ninjas wearing masks. On the other side, only the sound of flipping paper was heard, and the white papers stacked into the shape of a shield gradually dispersed. A few shades of confusion and anger from being suddenly attacked flashed across Conan's cold face. Leave one alive, I want to know who they are. Conan didn't expect that someone would suddenly attack her when she was about to leave Hidden Leaf Village. If she had reacted a little slower just now, she would have been injured by the explosive tags. Was her identity exposed? This made Conan's heart sink. The 6 mysterious ninjas wearing masks also said coldly at this moment, kill all Hidden Rain Village ninja within 3 minutes. And clean up the scene within 5 minutes. Mercury. Kakashi held a dazzling lightning in his hand, his speed was raised to an extreme, and he pierced through the chest of an Hidden Rain Village ninja with one hand. But several other ninjas have already killed. One of them held a sword, and a sword scratched Kakashi's arm, and blood immediately splashed out. Another person reached out and choked Kakashi's shoulder. And another person used a ninja tool similar to a chain to tie Kakashi's feet in time. At this moment, Kakashi was directly controlled and could not move. It's not easy fight be Kakashi Hatake, we 7 people deal with you alone, and we have to lost 1 person before we can take you down. A ninja holding a kunai walked in front of Kakashi. He first pushed the companion who was pierced by Kakashi's chest to one side, and completely ignored the companion who had no breath. Control his head, let me gouge out his Sharingan. The Hidden Rain Village ninja holding the kunai said coldly. Kakashi was shocked. Take away the Sharingan? He seemed to understand why these people didn't deliberately attack his head just now. They were afraid of damaging the Sharingan in his left eye. That is to say, they were after the Sharingan. Kakashi Hatake, farewell forever. When I have time, I might pay tribute to you. Just as this sentence fell. At the same time. Outside the formation. Kakashi. I'm here. You bunch of bastards, you actually want to kill my friend. Let me use my youth and passion to break this strange formation. The 8 inner gates. The 6th. Guy, there's no need for so much trouble, let me do it. Kisame untied the bandage of his great sword, Seimada. No matter how tricky the formation is, it will break with a slash from my Seimada. Reinforcements have arrived. Chapter 226, The Disappearance of the Will of Fire. The rift between Kakashi and Hidden Leaf Village. Kisame, holding the hilt of the great sword Seimada with both hands, merely lightly scraped it against the seal barrier. The sharp spikes on Seimada shaved off a large chunk of the energy barrier's chakra. The ceiling formation that trapped Kakashi had a huge gap. The gap was large enough for a person over 2 meters tall to pass through. Both Kisame and Guy stepped into it one after the other. Their appearance immediately drew the attention of the remaining 6 ninjas. Whether it was Hoshigaki Kisame or Might Guy, they were familiar ninjas in the eyes of these 6 root ninjas. They just didn't expect that these two guys would suddenly pop up at such a critical moment. Wait, could it be that they had colluded with Kakashi long ago? TSK, Kakashi, you're really in a sorry state. Kisame, with the great sword Seimata slung over his shoulder, looked at the controlled Kakashi and teased. How long has it been? 10 minutes? And you've already been captured by them. Kakashi's face behind the mask was full of helplessness. Each of them is not weak, the weakest one is also at the elite Chunin level, and that weakest one was just killed by Myakiri. The remaining 6 people can at least be a special Jonin in Hidden Leaf Village. You want me to deal with these 7 people at the same time, and in such a small space? Kakashi couldn't help but complain. Even if you have a way to make me twice as strong, I might not be able to defeat all of them. Kakashi, don't be afraid. We will save you. Might Guy first said to Kakashi, then glared at the 6 ninjas. Who are you guys? Why do you want to hurt Kakashi? The 6 root ninjas looked at each other. How could they possibly reveal their identities? They were very in sync. 2 people bound Kakashi's body, 1 person prepared to dig out Kakashi's eyes. The remaining 3 people, without any hesitation, directly rushed towards Guy and Kisame. Guy, I'll deal with them, you go save Kakashi. Kisame grinned, he was fearless and also rushed up. Okay. Guy decisively opened the 8 inner gates, and in one breath rushed to the 6th gate, the view gate. His whole body's skin began to turn red, and his skin was even more entwined with veins. The visible chakra was swirling around his body. He just stomped on the ground, and the ground under his feet shattered. The speed of his body was raised to an unimaginable extreme. The 3 root ninjas who wanted to block Guy and Kisame hadn't even reacted yet, and Guy had already brushed past the 3 of them. The speed was so fast that the strong airflow rolled up, causing a fierce gale in this alley. The root ninja who was about to stab the kunai into Kakashi's eye socket, was hit in the waist by a powerful flying kick. Intense Hidden Leaf Village Diamond Strength Whirlwind. What followed was Guy's loud shout. The terrifying power of this kick directly caved in the waist of the root ninja. Pua. The root ninja, who weighed over 100 pounds, was directly kicked and flew out. He spat out blood with fragments of internal organs, his body even directly hit the barrier of the ninjutsu. The scorching high temperature of the barrier burned the body of this root ninja into scorched black barbecue. The clothes on his body began to burn. His whole body fell straight to the ground. He died on the spot. Guy kicked at Kakashi with a split leg, but this kick did not hit Kakashi's body, but kicked on the chain that bound Kakashi's feet. The moment the chain broke, Kakashi's right hand was already shining with lightning, and he turned around without hesitation. His strangled arm made a dislocation sound. But Kakashi didn't care about this pain. The hand that was shining with lightning had already stabbed behind him. Puchy under this blow, another root ninja fell in Kakashi's hands. Kakashi grabbed the dislocated arm, gently pulled and restored the dislocated arm. On the Kisame side, 3 root ninjas were stopped by him alone, and he held the big knife Seimata and smashed it at a root ninja. This root ninja reacted quickly and dodged Kisame's blow sideways. But the next second, Kisame pulled the big sword Seimata back. The downward-facing scales on Seimata's body instantly severely injured this root ninja's waist, and even the intestines inside were cut off by Seimata's downward-facing scales, and the scene was very bloody. Deal. Suddenly, a root ninja held a sword and slashed at Kisame's back. The sword tore the air and made a sharp howl. Just as Kisame was about to be decapitated, Kisame's back of his head seemed to have an eye. He just tilted his head slightly and avoided the sword behind him. Kisame's mouth corners grinned. The observation hockey taught by Pops is really useful. Although I'm not very skilled, it's always sometimes effective and sometimes ineffective. But at critical moments, it can let me avoid fatal blows. Kisame turned his head. His bloodshot eyes looked at the root ninja behind him. Without hesitation, he kicked sideways. The root ninja hurriedly raised his knee to block, but when this foot kicked on his knee, the hard knee was directly kicked and broken. Kisame's strange power is so incredible that made Guy surprised. Hiss. The root ninja who was kicked on the knee was sweating all over in the pain. The next second, the big sword Seimata has already smashed at him. Seimata opened his mouth wide and bit this root ninja who couldn't dodge in time because his knee was crushed. Seimata chewed a big mouthful, not only chewed the flesh and blood on the root ninja's arm, but also bit off more than half of his chakra. Fire-style twin flame bomb. Another root ninja has already made a seal with both hands, and spit out 2 huge fire dragons at Kisame. Water-style twin shark bomb technique. Kisame also used a ninjutsu to fight back. 2 fire dragons and 2 sharks collided in midair, and the entire alley was filled with rolling steam, and everyone's sight was blocked. TSK, you guys. Have you forgotten that I am from Hidden Mist Village? Kisame's voice sounded in the steam fog. The next second, Kisame seemed to turn into a death god in the steam fog. He silently appeared behind the root ninja with a knee injury. This is Hidden Mist Village's silent killing technique. This has also become Kisame's home court. Kisame swung the big sword Seimata, and Seimata opened his mouth again, and bit the head of this root ninja. The ninja's head was bitten off by Seimata, and the crimson blood rushed 2 or 3 meters high from the broken neck. As time passed by 1 minute and 1 second, probably only 3 or 4 minutes later, the alley fell into a deadly silence. The ceiling formation that had blocked the alley began to gradually disintegrate. The steam fog that filled the alley also slowly dissipated. 3 figures came into view. They were Kakashi, Kisame, and Guy. There was also a root ninja who had his legs disabled and his hands bound by chains, forced to kneel on the ground, unable to move. The remaining 6 were bodies lying on the ground. These guys are indeed quite strong. Kisame wiped the small wound on his cheek with his hand, and after licking the blood on his fingertips, he gently picked up the gas mask on the face of the kneeling ninja with the great sword Seimata, and an ordinary face appeared in front of the 3. It could be seen that this face was full of unwillingness and anger. It seemed that this guy was very unconvinced. Kakashi, do you know this guy? Kisame looked at Kakashi. I don't know. Kakashi shook his head. I have never seen him before. Guy leaned in to look at the face of the root ninja. Hey, your companions are already dead, and your operation has also failed. If you know what's good for you, you'd better tell us what your purpose is. However, Kakashi answered this question for the root ninja. Their purpose is to take my Sharingan. After saying that, Kakashi asked this person, who made you do this? I think my 3 Tomoe Sharingan is not worth so many people to snatch, right? Humphrey. The root ninja gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. He didn't answer anyone's question, and there was some movement in his mouth, as if he was stirring something with his tongue. But in the next instant, Kakashi immediately reached out and choked his throat, and decisively dislocated his jaw. A poison pill disguised as a teeth fell from this person's mouth. It seems that he would rather take poison and commit suicide than reveal who is behind him. Kisame grinned with interest. Kakashi, leave him to me. Hidden Mist Village Ninja have 10,000 different methods that can make this hard bone spit out the information. Kakashi, who has a keen observation, grabbed the root ninja's tongue with one hand. He didn't care about the saliva on the other's tongue. He pulled out the tongue. Kisame looked at the tongue. This is some kind of curse mark? He turned his head to look at Kakashi, and Kisame found that Kakashi's expression was very wrong. You seem to recognize this curse mark? What is this curse mark? This is the cursed tongue eradication seal. Kakashi's 2 eyes, one red and one black, were covered with a layer of gloom. As a copy ninja, Kakashi is proficient in thousands of ninjutsu, and this is also one of the techniques Kakashi knows. And Kakashi knows better that this technique is the unique ninjutsu of Hidden Leaf Village. At least in his cognition, no one in other villages outside of Hidden Leaf Village would use the cursed tongue eradication seal. It's Root. I've seen Root killed by Whitebeard. I was also curious to check their bodies after they died, and their tongues were all marked with this curse mark. Kakashi's grip on this person's tongue involuntarily increased a bit, causing the Root ninja to scream ah 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 ah. Root? Guy on the side was stunned. This guy is from Root? Then the other 6 guys. Guy hurriedly ran to a body, then pried open the other's mouth and pulled out the tongue. He found that there was also a faint curse mark on the tongue. And with the death of this Root ninja, the cursed tongue eradication seal visibly disappeared. Guy's face also changed a bit. Although Guy is usually a bit quirky and likes to be straightforward, he doesn't think too much. But he is ultimately a mature adult. He realized why Kakashi would have such a big emotional fluctuation. Root? It seems to be your people from Hidden Leaf Village, right? The Root of Hidden Leaf Village wants to kill Kakashi Hatake, and wants to dig out Kakashi Hatake's eyes. Ha! Things seem to become interesting. Your Hidden Leaf Village is really full of drama. Kisame's laughter was a bit mocking. On the other side, Poo-poo-poo one by one, the origami shuriken comparable to steel, all stabbed into the body of the last Root ninja. The Root ninja's eyes suddenly widened. He never expected that the ninja who attacked Hidden Rain Village this time would end up in such a disastrous defeat. All his companions were killed by the other party. The whole body of the Root ninja is also stumbling forward and falling down. The ground is already soaked with blood. The severely injured Hidden Rain Village team joined in, then leaned against the wall, tried to open his eyelids, and breathed hard. Damn. Who are these guys? Then, he turned his head and looked at Conan next to him. He was amazed at the strength of the angel. She is actually not hurt at all. Conan glanced at Hidden Rain Village ninja Jonin. With such a big movement, The ninja of Hidden Leaf Village is estimated to come over. They will send you to the hospital of Hidden Leaf Village. Then, Conan kicked the root ninja who fell on the ground and turned over. This is the only root ninja who is still alive. However, this person's injuries are very serious, and at least a dozen origami shuriken are deeply inserted into his body. This person has lost the ability to move, because the tendons of the joints everywhere are cut off. A piece of paper floated up in Conan's palm, and with a light flick of her wrist, the sharp paper cut off the other party's mask. Seeing this face for a moment, Conan suddenly froze, and a pair of beautiful eyebrows frowned deeply. I have seen this guy. The injured Hidden Rain Village Jonin was shocked. He endured the pain on his body, and hurriedly asked curiously, Angel-sama, who is he? Conan said coldly, this guy is a ninja from Hidden Leaf Village. When I came to Hidden Leaf Village with a ransom, I saw this guy. Conan has a strong memory. The root ninja can't wear a mask all day, and Conan just happened to meet this root ninja when the other party was not wearing a mask. Hidden Leaf Village's ninja. Hidden Rain Village Ninja Team Jonin was suddenly surprised. Why did Hidden Leaf Village's ninja attack us? Cough cough. Under the emotional excitement, he coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood. Damn it. What does that third Hokage mean? Could it be that the third Hokage wants to provoke a war between the two countries? The third Hokage of Hidden Leaf Village must give us an explanation, and must give us an explanation for Hidden Rain Village. At this time, Kakashi was very confused. He really couldn't help thinking about some conspiracy theories. A few days ago, the third Hokage inexplicably transferred himself to the root, and he had explained to the third Hokage about being tracked, but Hokage's answer and behavior were very perfunctory. Today, a few days later, he was assassinated by the people of the root, and he wanted to forcibly take away his Sharingan. Isn't this a bit too coincidental? It's so coincidental that Kakashi can hardly doubt whether these root ninjas have anything to do with Hokage. What are they trying to do? After the village used public opinion to kill his father, Sakamo Hatake of Hidden Leaf Village, do they still want to forcibly kill Kakashi Hatake? Did his loyalty to Hidden Leaf Village and respect for the third Hokage only result in this? His father died, his mother died. He almost died too. The surname Hatake was just a little bit about to disappear in the ninja world. Kakashi. Let's take this guy and these bodies and go report to Hokage-sama. Guy gritted his teeth in anger for his friend. You are a Jonin of Hidden Leaf Village. Why do these fellow villagers want to harm you? Kakashi, as long as you tell Hokage-sama about this, Hokage-sama will definitely get justice for you. And, we have to go to the head of root for an explanation. Kakashi? Guy found that Kakashi had no reaction. He couldn't help but pat Kakashi on the shoulder. Guy. It's not necessary. Kakashi shook his head and said, do you think if we bring them to Hokage, we can get an explanation? Guy was stunned. Kakashi let go, looked down in a daze at the saliva and blood directly stained, and said in a low voice, Guy, it's too coincidental, everything is too coincidental. Guy actually knew what Kakashi meant by too coincidental. Guy couldn't help but say, then even if we can't get the help of Hokage-sama, we have to ask clearly anyway. Right? Guy, don't be too naive. Kisame, carrying the great sword Samada, interjected, what if these root ninjas are related to your third Hokage? Even if you find him, will he tell you the truth? Even if it has nothing to do with him, and the mastermind behind this attack is Shimura Denzo or Mitakato Hamura, it doesn't matter anymore. Kisame scoffed. Don't forget, the last one who almost died in the hands of Root was Shisui Uchiha. What happened after that? What punishment did the mastermind behind the scenes get? Your third Hokage just locked him in Hidden Leaf Village prison, even without strictly forbidding him to leave the prison. Kisame paused, and continued, no matter who ordered this attack, no one will pay for this. This is the politics of Hidden Leaf Village. Haha, it's quite ironic. Guy fell silent. Because, he couldn't refute Kisame's words. The three big men on the scene all fell into a deathly silence. Kakashi, maybe we can ask this guy for more. Before Guy could finish his sentence, a kunai had already pierced the throat of this root ninja. Guy was taken aback and looked at Kakashi next to him. Because it was Kakashi who made the move. It's useless, those who have been marked with the seal of tongue root extinction will never reveal any secrets in their lifetime. Kakashi was suppressing the anger surging in his heart. To be honest, since the day his heart was filled with the will to die, he has never been angered by anyone, even if he has experienced more cruel battles, even if he has been hit hard by Itachi Uchiha's Tsukuyomi, even if he has been tossed around by Naruto and Whitebeard. Kakashi's mentality is actually like a pool of dead water. But tonight, Kakashi's emotions fluctuated greatly. Ripples surged in the pool of dead water. At that moment, Kakashi seemed to feel, does he still need to stay in Hidden Leaf Village? Hidden Leaf Village, which he is determined to protect, has become the one who wants to take his life. Isn't it a bit ironic? The last anger in Kakashi's heart began to disappear without a trace in the assassination tonight. The anger that disappeared in his heart. Called Will of Fire. Chapter 227, Kakashi, join the Whitebeard Pirates. Obito and Kakashi. Kakashi, what? What are you doing? At this moment, Might Guy saw Kakashi do something that baffled him. Because Kakashi was taking off the Hidden Leaf Village headband wrapped around his head. Kakashi, who had taken off the Hidden Leaf Village headband, stared at the headband in his hand. In response to Guy's confusion, Kakashi replied. Why do I need the village when the village doesn't need me? Maybe that's life, I've lost my purpose. A simple 2 sentences left Guy frozen in place as if struck by lightning. He hurriedly grabbed Kakashi's shoulders with both hands, shook Kakashi vigorously, trying to wake Kakashi up. Guy hurriedly shouted. Kakashi. Cheer up. Don't commit suicide. If you want to commit suicide, I can only go with you. Although the village's treatment of you is indeed very excessive, you can't end your life in this way. It must be said that Guy is indeed Kakashi's best friend. Idiot. Stop it. You're going to make me dizzy. Kakashi couldn't help but twitch at the corner of his mouth. When did I say I wanted to commit suicide? Huh? Didn't you say you lost your purpose? Guy was stunned, he scratched his head awkwardly. Kakashi sighed. What I mean is, Hidden Leaf Village and Bujonin Kakashi Hatake should no longer exist in this world. You need to understand, he and Kakashi Hatake are different. Guy was confused. Because Kakashi's words were too hard to understand. Anyway, I don't want to be a Hidden Leaf Village ninja anymore. Kakashi made a shocking statement, the veins on the back of his hand bulged, and he forcefully broke the metal-made Hidden Leaf Village headband in half. Guy. Don't want to be a Hidden Leaf Village ninja. Looking at the damaged headband in Kakashi's hand, Guy hurriedly wanted to say something. But he was interrupted by Kakashi in advance. Guy, this is a decision I made after careful consideration. Let me give you an example. If you are a samurai, you haven't done anything wrong, but the daimyo you are loyal to wants to kill you. In this situation, are you still going to be loyal to that daimyo? Maybe there are such blindly loyal people in the ninja world, but obviously, I am not one of them. Guy fell silent. He also felt that the village was very excessive, although he didn't know whether this matter had anything to do with the third Hokage, but at least he could be sure that it was related to the Hidden Leaf Village route. The Hidden Leaf Village route involves 2 of the 4 higher-ups in Hidden Leaf Village, namely Mikado Hamura and Shimura Denzo. Is there a difference between involving 2 Hidden Leaf Village higher-ups and involving the third Hokage? The 4 higher-ups of Hidden Leaf Village are all in the same boat. As Kisame said, even if they go to them for an explanation, I'm afraid they won't be able to get any explanation. The last person who was framed by the higher-ups was Shizue Uchiha. Now, has Shimura Denzo, who framed Shizue Uchiha, received real punishment? No. The third Hokage just raised the big board high, and then gently put it down. Guy is indeed very straightforward. But it doesn't mean he is a fool. Kakashi, you know the village's rules. Guy said. As a Hidden Leaf Village Jonin, if you choose not to be a Hidden Leaf Village ninja like this, you will be judged as a rogue ninja. Guy, if I become a rogue ninja from Hidden Leaf Village, would you capture me or even kill me for Hidden Leaf Village? Kakashi suddenly asked. A soulful question left Guy silent once again. Would he kill a friend who didn't want to be a ninja for Hidden Leaf Village? Guy immediately came up with an answer. He earnestly said to Kakashi. I will only do what's right. As long as you haven't done anything wrong, I definitely won't sever our friendship. When that time comes, even the command of Hokage-sama won't be able to sever our bond. Because you haven't done anything wrong, those who are not guilty of death should not die. Moreover, Guy slapped Kakashi's shoulder hard, his face serious but tears streaming down. I will never stand by and watch you fall into darkness, even if you don't want to be a ninja. The passion surging within me will never allow me to watch a friend be corrupted by darkness. But Guy quickly thought of a problem. If you don't want to be a ninja from Hidden Leaf Village, what do you want to do? I don't know. Kakashi shook his head. Take one step at a time. After the anchor of the will of fire dissipated in Kakashi's heart, the will to protect Hidden Leaf Village also disappeared from Kakashi. He didn't know why, but he felt an unprecedented sense of relief, as if a huge burden had been lifted off him. Kakashi, who had made his decision, would not turn back. Although Kakashi had feelings for Hidden Leaf Village, it doesn't mean he's stupid. Hidden Leaf Village's higher-ups wanted to take his life. Knowing that he was helpless against them, if he still stayed in Hidden Leaf Village, his father's suicide would have taught him nothing. Kakashi didn't want to find the third Hokage, let alone Shimura Denzo or Mikado Hamura, to ask for clarity. Because there's no need, even if he asked for clarity, what could he do? Could he make the third Hokage harden his heart and kill anyone of Mitokado Hamura or Shimura Denzo? If it's related to the third Hokage, could he make the third Hokage harden his heart and commit suicide? What a joke. Having followed Sarutobi Hiruzen for many years, Kakashi knew Sarutobi Hiruzen's character very well. He knew with his butt that he was just the second Shizue Uchiha. Putting everything on the table and tearing off the face, there's no use. It would only make everything stiff. But, Kakashi, if you're not a ninja from Hidden Leaf Village, wouldn't you be unable to go back to the Jonin single apartment? Guy scratched his head. Well, I'll go back to my real home. Kakashi shook his head. Although it hasn't been cleaned up for several years, I'll have to hire a few people to clean it up. Just then, Kisame next to him suddenly showed a smile. Kakashi, I have a good place here. Kakashi was stunned. Kakashi, this is not the first time I've invited you to join the Whitebeard Pirates. Kisame said, his smile seemingly friendly, but combined with his sharp teeth and bloodshot eyes, it looked rather ferocious. Kisame continued. Pops really likes you, Kakashi. I remember Pops has invited you no less than 10 times, right? You've almost always refused Pops on the grounds that you're a Hidden Leaf Village ninja, this time. Do you have any other reasons to refuse? Kisame's smile grew wider. You don't want to be a Hidden Leaf Village ninja, do you want to be a free and easy pirate? The most important point is, pirates who are free and easy on the sea won't harm their subordinates for no reason. Kisame said to Kakashi. Kakashi, you've been with Pops for a longer time. Maybe even longer than me, right? What kind of person is Pops? I think you might understand better than me. Pops likes you so much, maybe he's been keeping a position of a division commander in the Whitebeard Pirates for you, Kakashi. Kisame's words left Kakashi standing in place. Because the Whitebeard Pirates is not a bad place to be. As Kisame said, Kakashi knows Whitebeard very well, and understands the Whitebeard Pirates even better. Although he is not Whitebeard's son, Kakashi has witnessed the family atmosphere of the Whitebeard Pirates. It's an atmosphere that even he envies. However, if he joins the Whitebeard Pirates, does that mean he's officially a Hidden Leaf Village rogue ninja? But on second thought, even if he is, so what? Would Hidden Leaf Village dare to attack a member of the Whitebeard Pirates? Even Kakashi had to admit that in terms of leadership ability and personal charm, Whitebeard is hundreds of times stronger than the third Hokage, Shimura Denzo, Mitokado Hamura, and Utain Koharu. If the Hokage of Hidden Leaf Village was Whitebeard, could the root still jump around? Kakashi was silent for a long time, and finally, he responded softly. Let me think about it. Kisame's smile grew even brighter. Because in the past, Kakashi would directly and decisively refuse. But now, Kakashi actually said he wanted to think about it. This already shows that Kakashi is actually moved. It's just that there's a little bit of pride in Kakashi's heart. But that's okay. Kisame believes that Pop's personal charm and the family atmosphere of the Whitebeard Pirates will eventually win over Kakashi Hatake. Even, Kisame dares to say, 90% of the people in the ninja world can't resist Pop's personal charm. Kisame believes that Kakashi is one of those people in the 90%. Suddenly, Kisame felt something was not quite right. His reaction was also seen by Guy and Kakashi. What's wrong? Kakashi asked. Kisame replied. It seems someone is watching us from a distance. Probably in the east direction. Don't look over there, they will discover us. Guy was shocked. Someone is watching us? Could it be those root people? They still won't give up? Guy gritted his teeth and was furious. Do those guys really want to kill Kakashi? Kisame shook his head. It's not necessarily the people from Hidden Leaf Village route. But we can quietly go over and see who the rat in the sewer is. Kisame laughed menacingly. Just now, those few root ninjas didn't even let me have a good time, and another enemy has come. TSK, Hidden Leaf Village, it really is a good place. Kisame, Guy, and Kakashi quickly exchanged glances. Their hands hidden from the prying eyes of the observer. Each of them clapped their hands. Clone jutsu. Well. Madara-sama, it seems that the route of Hidden Leaf Village has failed. In the distance, Tobi held a telescope from who knows where, and said to Obito in a strange tone. 7 root ninjas were all killed by Hoshigaki Kisame, Kakashi Hatake, and Might Guy. They couldn't even hold on for 10 minutes. But I don't know what they're saying. But if we send a white Zetsu to eavesdrop on them, they'll probably discover it in a minute. After all, they're very powerful. Tobi lamented. Humphrey. Shimura Denzo is as useless as trash. The root of Hidden Leaf Village is as useless as trash. It's better if I do it myself. Obito's expression under the mask was not very good. He gave out a Sharingan as a deposit, and perhaps promised a reward of 10 Sharingans. As a result, is this how that old thing Denzo does business? Is this how he cooperates? It's strange. Obi said. I saw Kakashi Hatake take off and break the Hidden Leaf Village forehead protector, and Might Guy seemed to have a big reaction, and Hoshigaki Kisame seemed to say something to Kakashi. But the distance is too far, I can't even read their lip language. Madara-sama, the telescope you bought, its quality is not very good. How much did it cost? Were you cheated by the peddler? Obi talked incessantly. And he was very annoying. Shut up. Obito couldn't help but blush. He turned the topic back to Kakashi. Kakashi, this guy can't just break the Hidden Leaf Village forehead protector at will, what's the deep meaning behind this? No matter how Obito thought about it, he couldn't figure out that Kakashi had completely lost hope in Hidden Leaf Village. Flap flap suddenly, a crow flying over from a distance caught the attention of Obito and Toby. The two of them looked up at the same time. They found that the sudden crow was looking down at them with its head down. Obito's pupils shrank under the mask. Something's wrong. Bang. Suddenly, a puff of white smoke came out of the crow on the top of the head, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a human shape. The bloodthirsty voice of Kisame, full of killing intent, rang out. TSK, the application range of observation Haki is really wide. There really are 2 gutter rats. Kisame descended from the sky and landed in front of Obito and Toby. The distance between the two sides was less than 5 meters. Kisame, carrying the big sword Seimata, looked at the two people in front of him with interest. Red Cloud and Black Robe. Is it the Akatsuki again? Kisame's eyes were filled with blood. You guys, you really are like a ghost. The proud green beast of Hidden Leaf Village. Make a dazzling appearance. Ha ha ha. A figure leaped high into the air, also descending from the sky, and slammed heavily onto the roof. Obito and Toby turned around. They found a thick-browed ninja blocking their way. That familiar mask, is it you again, the guy who calls himself Madara Uchiha? With a whoosh, Kakashi also appeared here. He also blocked a path for Obito and Toby. Obito's signature outfit is no longer a secret in many people's eyes. Especially his mask, it's too recognizable. Kakashi's eyes narrowed slightly. What are you two guys doing here watching us? What is your connection with Hidden Leaf Village's route? Damn it. Obi scratched the back of his head and said to Obito next to him. Madara-sama, we can be discovered by them from so far away, their perception ability is amazing. Eh? Obi realized belatedly. Doesn't that mean that the 3 people in the alley are actually clones? Madara-sama, it's bad. We've been played. Oh no, my poop is about to be scared out by them. Oh. I don't have poop, so it's okay. Obi's weird words made Kisame, Kakashi, and Guy all frown. They always felt that this guy was a bit mentally ill. Shut up. Idiot. You're going to make me lose face. Obito scolded Toby with a dark face. Then, one eye wandered around the 3 people who surrounded him. Being discovered by Kakashi and them, and being directly approached. This was something Obito didn't expect. 1 second ago, he still wanted to analyze what Kakashi and them were saying, but the next second he was surrounded. If I remember correctly, on the night of the Uchiha clan's extermination. It was you who cooperated with Itachi Uchiha, right? Kakashi squinted his eyes. I heard that that night, many of the Sharingan of the deceased of the Uchiha clan were missing. Wait. Kakashi reacted, he suddenly connected everything together. The Sharingan of the deceased of the Uchiha clan are all missing. Several root ninjas want to kill him, Kakashi, to take the Sharingan. Is there some connection during this period? Now this guy who calls himself Madara Uchiha suddenly appears, is he cooperating with the root to take his eyes? Just like a while ago when he took a large number of Sharingan from Uchiha. Kakashi's eyebrows were tightly furrowed. His 2 eyes and Obito's 1 eye looked at each other. Kakashi asked the other party a sole question. The person who wants to take my eyes is not a root ninja, but you Madara Uchiha, right? Just like when you and Itachi Uchiha cooperated to forcibly take so many Sharingan? Clap. 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 Obito, who was surrounded by 3 people, had no panic on his face, but instead clapped his hands with interest. Obito's slightly hoarse voice let out a sigh of admiration. Interesting, as expected of the son of White Fang. I thought you were an incurable fool who only reads erotic novel all day, but I didn't expect that you are quite smart. Hee hee. Obito chuckled softly. Kakashi Hatake, your eyes are very special, more special than many of the eyes of the Uchiha clan. I am indeed very interested in your eyes. Facing Kakashi, Obito's expression was somewhat complicated. But all the complicated expressions were hidden under his mask. At this time, Guy's angry voice rang out. Damn it. So you are the mastermind who wants to kill Kakashi. Guy felt that the masked man in front of him was the culprit who made Kakashi not want to be a ninja. And this guy wants to kill Kakashi. How can he not be angry? Kisame said. Kakashi, Guy, there's no need to waste words with him. Capture him and interrogate him, then everything will be clear. Kisame smirked. I heard Pops say, a member of the Akatsuki who calls himself Madara Uchiha, his strange intangibility ability, has a big flaw. When Kisame's words fell, Obito's face suddenly changed. This flaw is, when Madara Uchiha wants to attack, his intangibility ability will fail. Kisame, in front of everyone, spoke out Obito's weakness. Chapter 228, The Half-Face Under the Broken Mask. Kakashi, Obito? Damn Hoshigaki Kisame. Damn Whitebeard. They actually leaked the weakness of my Mangekyo Sharingan. Kisame's few words have already drastically changed Obito's expression, but he hides these emotions well behind his mask. Madara-sama, you look a little bad. Tobi looked left, right, and behind, reminding. The three of them don't want to let us go so easily. Don't say such nonsense. Obito wished he could take off Obi's head and stuff it into the ground. Does he think I'm blind and can't see the situation? Obito knows that half of his strength comes from the Mangekyo Sharingan. If others know the weakness of my Mangekyo Sharingan, Obito feels that at least half of his strength has been cut off. Merge with me. Obito made a decision immediately. If he and Obi are separated, it's just 1 + 1 = 2, but if they merge into 1, then it's 1 + 1 greater than 2. Understood. Although Tobi's brain circuit is very strange, at this time he also obeyed Obito's words. Stop them. Kakashi, who has always been on high alert, reacted instantly. Kakashi took out several shurikens from his ninja tools bag. With a forward throw, the shurikens immediately flew out. Dynamic prelude. Guy also made a move, he kicked Obi without hesitation. Kisame honestly made a seal with both hands, then squatted down and slapped the ground, water-style submarine shark bite technique. The ground hit by the palm surged up a stream of water. The water turned into a shark, the shark only showed a fin, and rushed towards Obito. And then, the several shurikens thrown by Kakashi fell on Obi and Obito respectively. The shurikens tore the Akatsuki's robe and stuck in Obi's body. But when it hit Obito, it went straight through. On the side, Guy's kick has also arrived, a fierce kick hit Obi's head, directly kicking Obi out. The water-shaped shark swimming quickly on the ground also leaped out, opening its mouth and biting towards Obito. The huge shark wrapped Obito's entire body. Sharp teeth wanted to bite Obito's body to pieces. Humphrey. Even if you know my weakness, your attacks are ineffective. Obito snorted coldly, he actually came out unscathed from the shark's bite. Ah! The next second, Guy's roundhouse kick landed on his neck. But this kick also went through. Hee, useless. Obito sneered again, ninjutsu earth-style earth dragon stealth technique. Obito took the opportunity to drill into the ground, and when he appeared again, he was already standing next to Tobi who was kicked out. You're really in a sorry state. Obito glanced at Tobi next to him, whose head was kicked crooked and had several shurikens stuck in his body. A normal person would have died a long time ago if they were injured like this. But Tobi slowly stood up. This guy is so strong. Tobi's twisted neck returned to normal, and the shurikens stuck in his body fell one by one. Suddenly, Tobi's head exploded instantly, turning into tentacles and wrapping around Obito's body. In less than half a second, Obi became a layer of white Zetsu armor wrapping Obito's body. The power of both sides was closely connected at this moment. I can now be sure that he is definitely not Madara Uchiha. Kakashi stared at everything, holding a kunai in his hand, and sharply commented. Although I have never seen Madara Uchiha, I have heard a lot of rumors about him. The legendary Madara Uchiha would never use this kind of ninjutsu, like a gutter rat drilling underground. Nor would he panic a little when someone discovers his weakness. TSK, isn't that just what Pops said, just a rat borrowing someone else's name? Kisame stood next to Kakashi, sneering coldly. That Madara Uchiha is really pitiful. He died and still had to have his reputation destroyed by others. Guy stood to the right of Kakashi, his thick eyebrows slightly furrowed, and his tone was quite heavy. I don't know if it's my illusion, but he seems to have become much stronger than before. At this moment, Kakashi, Kisame, and Guy are confronting Obito. It was at this instant that they all made their move at the same time. Fire-style Kamyu Windstorm Dance. Obito didn't care at all about his ninjutsu, how much damage it would cause to Hidden Leaf Village. When he, who had merged with Tobi, used this fire-style ninjutsu again, The power was several times greater than usual. Fire-style windstorm dance. Kakashi and Obito made the same few seals, and spat out a turbulent flame. But the fire-style ninjutsu that Kakashi used with his pitiful amount of chakra could not compare with the power of the fire-style ninjutsu used by Obito. In addition, Obito's fire-style ninjutsu was powered by Kamui. The next second, two large and small balls of flame collided in midair. The surging flame spread in all directions. Kakashi's same ninjutsu immediately fell into the wind. Just as the flames were about to pounce on Kakashi, the last seal of Kisame next to him was already completed. Water-style Great Shark Bullet Technique. Kisame pushed his hands forward hard, and the huge shark immediately pounced on the surging flames. The collision of fire and water made a harsh sizzling sound. The Great Shark Bullet Technique was visibly twisted by the power of Kamui. Bang! Suddenly, a figure, like a shooting star, actually tore through the water flow and the flames, and rushed forward in a very exaggerated manner, and broke into Obito's front. Ha! Guy let out a roar from his mouth, flew up with a kick, and landed on Obito's face. Obito, who was using ninjutsu, could not phase. This kick actually made Obito's face sink a little. It's useless. Obito's body just leaned back, and the next second he reached out and grabbed Guy's ankle. Obi's power is not weaker than yours. Obito actually picked up Guy with one hand and directly smashed Guy to the ground. Guy hurriedly propped up the ground with one hand, and the other foot kicked towards Obito's wrist, allowing himself to break free from the other's restraint. Guy once again activated the 8 inner gates. Visible green chakra was lingering on Guy's body. He took advantage of the situation with a sweeping leg, causing Obito to lose balance on both feet. After Guy stood up, he raised his foot and chopped down. At the same time, Kisame, who was carrying the heavy big sword Seimata, was also close at hand. He raised his hand and slashed down at Obito's body. A kick and a sword, all fell on Obito's body. Unexpectedly, both attacks passed through Obito. Bang! The ground underfoot was smashed into a pit. Obito seemed to fall to the ground in a rather embarrassing manner, but he was unharmed. He stood up unhurriedly and patted the non-existent dust on his clothes. Whoosh! Kakashi instantly appeared behind Obito, pressing his palms towards Obito's body. Ninjutsu sealing technique. A dense array of spells gushed out from Kakashi's palms. As a result, the sealing technique's spell actually passed through Obito's body, having no effect. Obito turned around and swung back. An ninja sword suddenly drilled out of his palm, heading straight for Kakashi's throat. Kakashi's pupil shrank. While retreating, he took out a kunai and collided with the opponent's sword. Ding! Obito's inexplicable strength shook Kakashi's kunai out of his hand. Seeing the sword about to touch Kakashi's throat skin, the great sword Seimata opened its big mouth and bit Obito's sword. Crack! The sword was bitten and broken by Seimata. Youthful power shoulder throw. Guy took the opportunity to grab Obito's wrist holding the sword and slammed Obito hard on the ground. What was shocking was that Obito's body actually sank into the ground. Huh? Guy was astonished. Isn't it said that when attacking, he is not intangible? And I clearly grabbed his hand just now. He should be able to make parts of his body intangible. Kakashi broke the silence. When he is holding the sword, only his palm is not intangible, and the rest of his body is still intangible. Guy's eyes widened. He stared at Obito, who stood up leisurely again. Your eye technique is too wild, isn't it? Wild? The 8 inner gates, an unreasonable taijutsu, is called more reasonable to call it wild, right? Obito glanced at the broken sword in his hand. After casually discarding the broken sword, another brand new sword drilled out of his palm. Since he has been discovered and a fight has already started, Obito decided to take Kakashi's eyes by himself. The Sharingan given to that waste Denzo is just like feeding a dog. Obito's goal is very clear. He ignored Kisame and Guy, and immediately rushed towards Kakashi. At the same time, 2 white arms drilled out of Obito's body. The white arms quickly formed seals, and Obi's voice came, wood-style tree binding eternal burial. Vines drilled out from under Kakashi's feet, directly entwining Kakashi's legs. Kakashi immediately looked down and was somewhat shocked in his eyes. Wood-style? Before Kakashi had time to struggle, the vines had already entwined his entire body. And, the vines began to grow bigger and bigger, constantly twisting and squeezing Kakashi's body. The vines twisted and turned into a towering tree, standing on the streets of Hidden Leaf Village. Obito had already rushed to Kakashi, holding the sword, and directly stabbed towards Kakashi's abdomen. The sword passed through the vines, and when it pierced into Kakashi's body, Obito found that the feel was not quite right. Then, he saw Kakashi, who was bound by the wood style, turned into a puddle of water and fell to the ground. Water clone? Obito was startled, and then he found a wet explosive tag, which had actually fallen at his feet. He didn't know what material this special explosive tag was made of, but it could still burn after being soaked in water. Boom. 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 The deafening explosion enveloped Obito entirely. Kakashi, who had suddenly appeared a dozen meters away at some point, quickly formed seals with both hands, fire style, great fireball. A not-so-small fireball spewed out from Kakashi's mouth. It went straight into the explosion's flames. Boom. 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 When the flames and the smoke from the explosion dissipated, Obito stood quietly there, looking down at his palm that had been burned and blasted. The ninja sword in his hand had long been blasted away. It's so hot, so hot, so hot, so hot. Tobi's weird cry rang out on Obito. He's attacking you, but it's me who's in pain. This is not fair. As soon as Tobi's weird cry was over, the burns and blast injuries on Obito's hand had quickly healed. Because the part that was blasted was not Obito's real hand, but Tobi's shell. Huff. Huff. On the other side, Kakashi was panting slightly. The previous battle with that group of root ninjas had already consumed a lot of his chakra. Now he has used several ninjutsu in a row. Kakashi's chakra is about to run out. Kakashi found that even if he knew the weakness of this mysterious person who called himself Madara Uchiha, it was of no use. The other party's eye technique was extremely strange. And, he didn't know what secret technique the two of them used. They actually merged together. As a result, the explosion of the explosive tags and the fire-style ninjutsu could not blast the other party's palm. Intangibility, monstrous strength, hard shell, wood style. One ability after another added up, making Kakashi feel extremely tricky. It seems that we still have to break the white shell on his body. Kisame, carrying Seimata, also had a frown on his face. The rats in the gutter are really hard to kill. Kisame had never seen a person with so many life-saving abilities. Oh, except for Orochimaru. Obito hooked up a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. A bunch of juniors, if you want to take down Madara Uchiha, you guys go back and practice for another 100 years. In the state of Tobi's possession, even if people know the weakness of Kami, so what? With such an attack, it can't break Tobi's defense at all. Obito began to become fearless. He suddenly clasped his hands together, a sharp look flashed in his eyes, wood-style wood dragon technique. Suddenly, the ground under his feet began to shake violently, and a huge wood dragon rose from the ground. The huge wood dragon was like a terrifying beast. Its height was more than 10 meters higher than the surrounding buildings. Obito himself even jumped up and jumped to the top of the wood dragon. He controlled the huge wood dragon and rushed towards Kakashi. With the movement of the wood dragon, the surrounding buildings were all knocked down, and the civilians who had not had time to run far were trapped in the buildings. Gate of view. Open. Guy's voice echoed on one side. In the battle between ninjas, try not to involve civilians. Didn't the ninja manual teach you? You bastard. Guy directly jumped to a height of more than 50 meters. Overlooking the wood dragon below that was going to attack Kakashi, his fists began to swing rapidly. In the blink of an eye, there were traces of afterimages. This is the morning peacock drawn with blood and youth. Ada. 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 The fists and the air rubbed at high speed, and one after another ball of flame blasted out from Guy's hands. The diameter of each ball of flame is at least 20 to 30 centimeters. Countless fireballs fell like a pouring rain. In the dark night, it was more like a peacock of fire opening its screen. The scene was very eye-catching. Bang. 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 The flames fell on the wood dragon, and they actually blasted the huge body of the wood dragon into pits and bumps. The relentless impact force even knocked the wooden dragon to the side, and the attack of the wooden dragon fiercely smashed into the buildings a dozen meters to the right of Kakashi, crushing all the buildings there. Water-style great exploding water colliding wave. Kisame spat out a torrent of waves, and in just a blink of an eye, a large amount of water covered 100 meters around, like a huge lake, covering the wooden dragon. Water-style 5 feeding sharks. Kisame in the water pressed a palm on the ground, and 5 sharks instantly swam towards Obito. The 5 sharks seemed to be going crazy, wanting to tear Obito into pieces. Obito frowned. The feeling of being submerged in water was not comfortable. Moreover, he couldn't use his fire-style ninjutsu, which he was good at. He held his breath, took out a ninja sword from the Kamui space again, and quickly slashed at a shark that was surging towards him. The shark was cut in two. It was so simple that Obito began to suspect that this was a feint. But the next second, he found that the severed shark quickly healed and bit towards him again. One of Obito's feet was bitten by the shark. He did not become intangible, and this bite was solid. Crack. Many of the shark's teeth were shattered, but the ridiculously large biting force also bit a crack in Obi's white body. Wow. Madara-sama, this ninjutsu seems to restrain your ability a bit. Obi immediately hinted to Obito. Kamuyu's ability has a 5-minute limit. If the 5 sharks that cannot be eliminated attack Obito continuously for 5 minutes, that would be a big problem. Moreover, the biting force of these sharks is very strong. If bitten a few more times, it will definitely bite through Obi's defense. If he loses the protection of Kamuy and Tobi, Obito will definitely be injured. Shut up. The fearlessness on Obito's face gradually faded. He found that he had seriously underestimated Might Guy and Hoshigaki Kisame. These 2 guys are ridiculously strong. If he didn't estimate wrong, their strength is above Kakashi, and they have definitely stepped into the threshold of Cage. Obito knew that facing such a strong enemy, he must not easily waste Kamuyu's time, and he cannot empty his trump card all at once. He immediately swung the sword and kept slashing the attacking sharks. Zzzz. Suddenly, a current sound rang from behind Obito. Obito was startled and hurriedly turned around to look. Rikiri. A flash of lightning passed through Obito's eyes. Kakashi's speed was so fast that even the Sharingan had difficulty capturing it. Facing the Rikiri that Kakashi had squeezed out of his last bit of chakra, Obito realized that this strike could not be blocked by Obi. Obi absolutely couldn't block this strike. Obito hurriedly wanted to let his body quickly enter the intangibility state. But at this time, Rai Hidden Mist Village had already appeared in front of his eyes. In an instant, the Tobi shell protecting Obito's head exploded with a bang. The mask on his face was also shattered by Chidori. When Obito's pupils shrank, Kakashi's bomb, filled with lightning, passed through his head, as if it was inserted into the air. Kamuyu's intangibility was successful. But, the mask was broken. Half of a particularly familiar face appeared in front of Kakashi, causing Kakashi's movements to stiffen. Kakashi's eyes gradually widened, and his face was full of disbelief. Kakashi had also fantasized about what the man who wore a mask and called himself Madara Uchiha looked like. But he didn't expect that the other party would have such a half-face. This is a face that Kakashi will never forget in his lifetime. Obito? Chapter 229, The Conqueror's Haki enveloping Hidden Leaf Village. Whitebeard appears. Obito's fear. The reappearance of a died old friend in front of him, even for someone like Kakashi, was inevitably a great shock, his eyes widening. Even a person like Kakashi was inevitably so shocked that he almost choked. The lightning in his hand gradually faded away, as his chakra was completely exhausted, and his face showed a look of fatigue. On Obito's face, whose mask was broken, there was a hint of anger. He knew he had been a bit arrogant and careless. Ignoring Kakashi's shock, 2 white arms emerged from Obito's body, which were indeed Obi's arms. Obi's 2 arms grabbed Kakashi's arms, Obito's head turned to avoid Kakashi's bomb, and one hand went straight for Kakashi's throat. Kakashi was too tired to dodge. He was choked by Obito's single hand. Obito. The 2 words he spat out in the water were unclear. Kakashi never imagined that the man who claimed to be Madara Uchiha was actually his old friend. But wasn't Obito already died in the 3rd Great Ninja War? Kakashi was very confused. He also vaguely understood why the other party wanted to take his eye, because it was originally Obito's eye. This eye is simply wasted on you, Kakashi. Give it back to me. Obito's other hand quickly stabbed towards Kakashi's left eye. He even ignored the 5 sharks fighting him. He forcibly let Obi's hard body block the attack of the sharks. The distance between Obito and Kakashi was so close. Even Guy couldn't stop it in time. Kakashi. Guy wanted to quickly open the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates, but it takes 2 or 3 seconds to build up the power to open the 7th gate. Just then, an anomaly occurred. An unparalleled terrifying aura, in the blink of an eye, enveloped the entire Hidden Leaf Village. The visible Conqueror's Haki shockwaves swept in all directions. The sky above the entire Hidden Leaf Village seemed to have a gust of wind howling past. Thus a few people could even hear a faint sound ringing in their ears. This was the strong Conqueror's Haki rampaging and shaking the air, causing waves of humming. All the ninjas and civilians below the special Jonin in the entire Hidden Leaf Village, all rolled their eyes, foaming at the mouth. Without any warning, they fell to the ground. Their consciousness and spirit, and soul, all suffered an unprecedented shock. People with weak strength simply couldn't withstand this kind of shock. They couldn't even hold on for a second, and fainted on the spot. At least tens of thousands of people in Hidden Leaf Village fell into a baby-like sleep. No one was spared. Even some of the special Jonin in Hidden Leaf Village, under the wash of this Conqueror's Haki, their expressions changed drastically. Their legs went soft. They knelt down directly on one knee. In each of their eyes, there was a look of shock and horror. These special Jonin of Hidden Leaf Village didn't understand what had happened at all. Now, the only ones who are qualified to stand are the Jonin, and the Kage level. It's Whitebeard. In the Hyuga clan's residence, Hayashi Hyuga was originally looking at the huge wood dragon that was rampaging everywhere in the distance, and a suddenly appeared huge land lake. But he didn't expect that the next second, the familiar conqueror's haki would sweep over the entire Hyuga clan's residence. The reason why it's familiar is because the last time Whitebeard was in a Hyuga clan's residence, he erupted with conqueror's haki. A look of shock couldn't help but spread across Hayashi Hyuga's stoic face. Because he found that this time, the momentum was at least dozens to hundreds of times more exaggerated than the last. The area affected by Whitebeard's momentum was not only the Hyuga clan's residence, but the entire village of Hidden Leaf Village was also affected. What an astonishing aura! What's going on? Jiraiya, who was enjoying his drink and the company of two women in Hidden Leaf Village, was taken aback when the two women he was holding suddenly fainted. Jiraiya, with a strong sense of intoxication on his face, gently put down the two women, then staggered to the outside with the support of the wall. Jiraiya looked into the distance, his face even more shocked. What happened over there? How did I not notice the movement there just now? Damn. Jiraiya rubbed his aching brow, full of regret. Drinking has caused trouble for me. In Jiraiya's line of sight, the entire sky of Hidden Leaf Village was flashing with black thunder. There was even an absurdly large flow of water in the distance. The water flow was wrapping around a huge wooden dragon. It was as if there were two cage-level forces fighting in Hidden Leaf Village. Wooden dragon. Jiraiya was shocked again by this scene. The wood style of the first Hokage? In the prison of Hidden Leaf Village, Denzo, who was waiting for good news from his subordinates, suddenly felt the sweep of Conqueror's haki. Denzo's leisurely expression suddenly turned into a look of horror. Even a strong sense of fear and psychological shadow emerged. It's Whitebeard. It's Whitebeard. Denzo couldn't help but let out a panicked cry. Could it be that Whitebeard has come to kill me? Don't look at Denzo swearing every day that one day he will make the Whitebeard pirates look good. But when Whitebeard actually comes to kill, Denzo is definitely more afraid than anyone else. Because he knows very well how powerful that man is. His lower body, his summoned beast, all fell into that man's hands. Denzo didn't even want to know what was happening outside. He hurriedly pushed his wheelchair, wanting to move to the secret base of the route for refuge. Denzo didn't want to die. He didn't want to be killed by Whitebeard even more. On the other side, the Hokage building. With such a big commotion in the village, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third Hokage, naturally couldn't have ignored it. He had sent out a large group of Anbu ninjas a few minutes ago to go and see what was going on. But he didn't expect that in just a few minutes, the Conqueror's haki from Whitebeard had already swept the entire village of Hidden Leaf Village. Sarutobi Hiruzen broke into a cold sweat. Again this kind of momentum. And this time, the range of impact is so large that it's horrifying. Sarutobi Hiruzen's pipe fell from his hand, and his fingertips were trembling slightly. Standing at the top of the Hokage building, he could clearly see that all the civilians on the street were stunned and fell to the ground on the spot. He could also see that some of the ninjas near the Hokage building were also stunned. How terrifying is this? In the village with tens of thousands of residents, are there only 500 people who are still conscious? Sarutobi Hiruzen swallowed a mouthful of saliva. A drop of cold sweat slid down his blue old face, falling to his chin. Finally, it fell to the ground. The tactic of overwhelming numbers, in front of Whitebeard, has no use at all. After all, under such a terrifying conqueror's haki, how many people dare to stand in front of Whitebeard? Damn it! Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his fists tightly, and a trace of gloom flashed through the horror in his eyes. Whitebeard's strength has made him completely lose the desire to resist. This man, this pirate. Just how strong is he? What is this? Conan felt as if a huge stone was pressing down on her heart. The strong conqueror's haki shock made Conan's face change slightly. Under her gaze, a group of ninjas from Hidden Rain Village all fainted, including the severely injured Jonin from Hidden Rain Village, and the captured root ninja. For a moment, Conan wondered if someone was trying to attack her again. But she quickly realized that this was not the case. Because this inexplicable momentum is a kind of indiscriminate attack, no one can escape. Conan knows that some people in the ninja world have a very amazing killing intent because they have killed too many or are very strong. The killing intent of those people is enough to deter most weak ninjas, making weak ninjas dare not move. But Conan has never seen anyone's aura strong enough to feint people across the air. She has never seen anyone's aura range so wide. This is already comparable to an S-class forbidden technique. Conan's palms were slightly sweaty from the momentum. She was shocked and murmured, "It's even more powerful than many forbidden techniques. Who on earth is it?" Conan was stunned. At the same time, when Obito's right hand, which was stabbing towards Kakashi's eye socket, was only 10 centimeters away from Kakashi's eye, Obito's action suddenly paused. Because the conqueror's haki that enveloped the entire Hidden Leaf village in the blink of an eye had already fallen on Obito. Obito, who was under the impact of the conqueror's haki. His whole body was trembling slightly. Those lucky ones who have fought with Whitebeard and survived will leave a big psychological shadow. Shimura Denzo, Saratobe Hiruzen, Orochimaru, Obito Uchiha. All belong to this group of people. A look of horror was revealed in Obito's Mengekyo Sharingan. Obito. 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 Obi shouting rang out, above. 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 Obito's identity has been exposed, and Tobi no longer calls Obito Madara-sama. Upon hearing this, Obito hurriedly looked up. It was as if a meteor was falling from the sky, burning with hot flames. Familiar scenes, familiar feelings, familiar memories. All surged into Obito's mind. The next second, the flames that fell from the sky fiercely inserted into Kisame's Great Water Shock Wave. The strong impact force split the entire Great Water Shock Wave in half. It was as shocking as Moses parting the sea. Obito was scared and hurriedly made his whole body intangible. Bang! The flames fell to the ground, and a visible shock wave surged up, knocking Kakashi out completely. Kakashi spat out a mouthful of blood, feeling as if his internal organs had shifted. Guy, who had already opened the seventh gate, hurriedly caught Kakashi. Kakashi, are you okay? The first thing Guy cared about was not what fell from the sky. Rather, he was concerned about Kakashi's safety. Cough, cough. I'm fine. Kakashi coughed several times. He struggled to open one eye, looking in the direction of Obito, its Whitebeard's Murakamagiri. Kisame, who was pressing one hand on the ground, also slowly stood up after seeing this scene. As his palm separated from the ground, the 5 sharks that were constantly biting Obito also dispersed and disappeared. It's Pops Murakamagiri. Kisame suddenly grinned. Sure enough, Pops is still very concerned about Kakashi. The object that fell from the sky was indeed a very large Naginata. This is Whitebeard's Murakamagiri. The reason why Murakamagiri was wrapped in flames just now was because it was rubbing against the air at high speed, and finally rubbed out the flames with the air. You can clearly see that Obito was completely stabbed by Murakamagiri. This can be completely called a replica of the Uchiha clan's extermination night. The familiar scene made Obito's body tremble even more. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr above Obito's head, I can smell the annoying smell from a long distance away. Uchiha brat who is pretending to be someone else's, you dare to appear in my observation hockey sensing range. You are really bold. Obito hurriedly looked up again. He saw Whitebeard's body also falling from the sky from directly above. Even though he was already in a state of intangibility, Obito didn't know why, but he was still scared and hurriedly retreated. Bang! Whitebeard's heavy body, which was 6 meters and 66 high, fell heavily to the ground. The entire ground was shaking violently. It was like a meteorite falling to the ground. Whitebeard has come. TSK TSK. Stupid son, several people already know this rat's weakness, how can you still be played so miserably by him? Whitebeard grabbed the Murakamagiri inserted in the ground with one hand, and easily pulled out the Murakamagiri. His disdainful gaze glanced at Kisame, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. As a punishment for you, the difficulty of your special training tomorrow will be doubled. If someone else said this to Kisame, Kisame would have slashed Seimada and fought with the other party without courtesy. But the one who said this to Kisame was Whitebeard. It was the pops that Kisame acknowledged. Kisame carried Seimada on his shoulder, and he actually apologized to Whitebeard. I'm sorry, Pops. I won't find any reason for my failure, please triple the difficulty of tomorrow's special training. Kisame even took the initiative to propose to increase the difficulty of special training. After hearing this, the smile on Whitebeard's face became even brighter, as expected of my son. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr only been a few days since I've seen you, how come you've become so miserable? Kakashi, who was lying in Guy's arms, couldn't help but give a bitter smile. He was already so tired that he didn't even have the strength to speak loudly. Moreover, Kakashi's mood is more complicated than anyone else's now. He had always thought that Obito had been dead for a long time. But unexpectedly, a living Obito, an Obito who is both familiar and unfamiliar, appeared in front of him. Kakashi didn't know what Obito had experienced. But he found that the Obito in front of him and the Obito he was familiar with were already two different people. Except for that half of the face, which still made him very familiar. Everything else has become unrecognizable to Kakashi. Thick-browed brat, you've got quite the spirit. White beard, looking at Guy, who had opened the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates, raised his eyebrows and rarely uttered a word of praise for others. Because this is the power of youth and passion combined. Guy, supporting Kakashi with one hand and giving Whitebeard a thumbs up with the other, made a very characteristic gesture of his. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Whitebeard could feel that guy's small body contained terrifying power. Such power would be a formidable force even on the sea. This kind of physical strength is really rare in the ninja world. Finally, Whitebeard turned his gaze to Obito. A small rat, only worthy of being treated by Whitebeard in this way. Uchiha brat, so this is what you look like. You're really ugly. Whitebeard never hid his true thoughts, and indeed, the other half of Obito's face was quite ugly. Damn Whitebeard. Obito's teeth were about to shatter, he was just a little bit away from succeeding. Just a few short seconds away, he could have had the double kami. By then, he felt that Whitebeard would not be his opponent. As a result, the sudden appearance of Whitebeard shattered his beautiful dream. Obito found that Whitebeard had disrupted his plan 3 times. The first time was in Hidden Mist Village, the second time was in the Uchiha clan's residence, and the third time was here. This damn Whitebeard, is he his nemesis? Obito, shall we run? Obi's whisper sounded in Obito's mind, your Kami only has 2 minutes left. Obi muttered, the two of us together are no match for Whitebeard. If you don't have Kami, we might both die at his hands. There's nothing shameful about not being able to beat Whitebeard, right? And aren't you scared too? I feel your body trembling. Shut up. Obito angrily retorted Toby, you're the one who's scared. Obito struggled to suppress the fear that naturally emerged from his body. He didn't even know why he was afraid of Whitebeard. Could it be because he almost died at Whitebeard's hands last time? Whitebeard. Aren't you a pirate? Obito was furious, gritting his teeth. Why would a pirate help a ninja like Kakashi Hatake? You guy, you wouldn't have been paying attention to this side all the time, would you? Whitebeard, holding Murakamagiri, laughed heartily, Uchiha brat, as you said, I am a pirate. Pirates do whatever they want, do they need a reason? If you really need a reason. Whitebeard's smile grew even brighter. How could I let a dumb white-haired brat I like die at the hands of a rat who borrows someone else's name? Whitebeard's words made Kakashi completely stunned. The next moment, on the blade of Murakamagiri in Whitebeard's hand, a white light wave had already emerged. A hint of coldness flashed in Whitebeard's eyes. Uchiha brat, do you know what the consequences are for hurting my future son that I like? The appearance of the vibrating light wave made Obito shudder all over. The fear of near death from a while ago was instantly hooked up. The cold and angry expression on Obito's face could no longer be held back. The psychological shadow really couldn't be suppressed. He absolutely cannot fight with Whitebeard. He is definitely not Whitebeard's opponent. Kami. Obito decisively ran away. He did not hesitate at all. Chapter 230, Shaking the Atmosphere? Fruit Awakening, Shaking Space. This is the peak Whitebeard. The power of Kami forcibly sucked Obito's body into the Kami space, leaving a slowly rotating Uzumaki-shaped air ripple. Sly guy. He just ran away like that. Seeing this, Kisame sneered coldly. He ran away in such a cowardly way after seeing Pops appeared. He is not worthy of borrowing the name Madara. Uchiha Kisame is very disdainful of Obito. If Obito dared to stay and fight with Pops, Kisame could still look at him highly. It's a pity. That guy is too timid. The key is this kind of strange pupil technique that seems to involve space. Kisame has no way to deal with this ability of the other party. He can only watch Obito escape with Kami. Gorurura. It's this kind of escape-specific ability again. Last time, I let you escape easily. Whitebeard's eyes narrowed slightly. Looking at the vortex-shaped air ripple that was about to disappear. He grinned heartily. This time, don't think about escaping so easily. After Whitebeard's words fell, not only was there a circle of vibrating light waves wrapped around the blade of Murakamagiri, but even the sky and the earth in all directions were coming with a sense of vibration. This kind of vibration has spread to the entire Hidden Leaf village in just a moment. The group of vibrating light waves enveloped on the blade of Murakamagiri suddenly became dozens of times larger as if it turned into a huge light ball. But the next moment it quickly compressed and returned to its original state. The surrounding environment is no longer slightly vibrating, but violently shaking. Cracks appeared under Whitebeard's feet, and the cracks quickly spread in all directions, and they became bigger and bigger. Under the strong vibration, even the hilt of Murakamagiri began to twist. The scene that everyone could see in front of them became distorted and subverted. The incredible scene made the exhausted Kakashi couldn't help but widen his eyes. What is this? Kakashi can see that this is the vibration power used by Whitebeard. But it seems a bit different from the vibration power used by Whitebeard before. If the vibration power used by Whitebeard at the beginning is to use his own power to vibrate other objects, then the current Whitebeard can make other objects vibrate themselves. That is to say, Whitebeard's ability is affecting the surrounding things. Kakashi felt that the blood in his body was slightly vibrating with this power. Kakashi didn't know what words to use to describe this feeling. But he can probably come to a conclusion. After Tsunoda's treatment, the recovered peak Whitebeard has stronger power than before. The Whitebeard in front of him seems to have controlled the powerful power that he could control once, but for some reason, he could not control it later. Not good. Guy hurriedly held Kakashi. Guy's subconscious told himself that if Whitebeard really striking his Murakamagiri, then the destruction and aftermath would be something Kakashi could not bear. As a result, Guy, who had opened 7 doors, held Kakashi too hard. He almost made Kakashi die on the spot. Kakashi's eyes were about to pop out, and a surge of strength from nowhere made him struggle hastily from Guy's arms. Let. Kakashi's words had not yet been spoken. When the vortex-shaped triple was about to disappear, Whitebeard's sudden slash had already been hacked down. Crack. The extremely crisp sound of glass shattering echoed in the ears of all the ninjas in Hidden Leaf Village who were still awake. The vibrating light waves smashed into the atmosphere. Dense white cracks spread in all directions, and in just a blink of an eye, the entire Hidden Leaf Village was affected. Standing under Whitebeard's attack, the violent vibration did not occur in Hidden Leaf Village, but all of them flowed into the Kamui. When Whitebeard's strength had not recovered to its peak period, the ultimate power of the Quake fruit could only shatter the earth, open the sea, and crack the atmosphere. But when Whitebeard's strength recovered to its peak period, his fruit ability awakening could already be used. The Quake fruit is no longer limited to cracking the atmosphere. It even has the power to vibrate space. Under Whitebeard's blow, the space is distorting. All the ninjas in Hidden Leaf Village who are still awake have lost their sense of direction in all 6 directions: front, back, left, right, up, and down. The vibrating and twisting space makes the scenery they can see in front of them constantly overturn. Kisame, Guy, and Kakashi, who were closest to Whitebeard, were the first to bear the brunt. The vibrating, twisting, and overturning space has made them lose all perception abilities, and the spinning scene makes their brains dizzy. If it weren't for Whitebeard deliberately controlling the power of the Quake fruit, the first one to die on the spot would definitely be Kakashi, and the second one to die on the spot might be Kisame. I can't move. Kisame looked forward in shock, and in Kisame's blurry vision, Pop's figure was also twisted like a whirlpool. Kisame couldn't move at all. Even if he used all his strength, even if his muscles were tense and his veins were entwined, he still couldn't break free from the feeling of being bound by the twisted space. Kisame knew that Pops was very strong, and he knew even more clearly that Pops, who had recovered to his peak period, was definitely much stronger than before. But he didn't expect that Pops was so exaggeratedly strong. This is no longer a power that a ninja can use, right? Kisame thinks that this is not even a power that nature can have. Even if nature has exaggerated tsunamis, exaggerated earthquakes, exaggerated flash floods, can they vibrate space? No. But Pops can. What? What a powerful old man. The power displayed by Whitebeard made Guy show a stunned expression for the first time. Guy was shocked to find that even if he opened the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates and fought desperately, he might not be a match for this Whitebeard old man. Because the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates is not enough to have the power to affect space. Can the 8th gate fight against it? Guy suddenly had an inexplicably excited expression on his face, and he was so excited that tears streamed down his face. You are so old, but has such a strong power. Youth. Youth really can't be restricted by age. Even old men have their own youth and passion. Kakashi. Did you see it? I'm about to be suffocated by you. Idiot, let go. Kakashi was almost out of breath. Now, all the ninjas in Hidden Leaf Village who are still awake are affected by the power of Whitebeard's fruit awakening. No one could move in this twisted and vibrating space. This terrifying power that could vibrate space, following the last resonance of Kamui, actually broke into the Kamui space. Inside the Kamui space. Facing him for the second time, I still feel so scared. If it were a normal human, would they have been scared by Whitebeard to the point of and pooped out several times? Tobi's funny voice, with a bit of relief. Then, he asked Obito with some curiosity, Obito, were you scared to the point of you can't control your poop? What does losing control of your poop feel like? Damn it. How many times have I told you? Shut up. Shut up. Obito gritted his teeth and scolded Tobi angrily. His mood is very bad now. He failed to take away Kakashi's Sharingan, and he was scared by Whitebeard to the point of running away in a panic. The worst thing is, His mask is broken. His face was completely exposed in front of that bastard Kakashi. At this moment, the identity of Madara Uchiha of the Akatsuki organization has completely lost its mystery. If Kakashi spreads this news throughout the ninja world, letting the people in the Akatsuki organization know this information, Obito doesn't know how to clean up this mess. It's all Denzo's fault. After thinking about it, he could only blame Denzo. If it weren't for Denzo being too useless, he wouldn't need to take action himself, his face wouldn't be exposed, and he wouldn't be scared away by Whitebeard. The key is that trash Denzo also took one of his Sharingan. Obito feels that he has lost a lot. But at this moment, an extremely ominous premonition enveloped Obito's body and soul. In such an instant, Obito was sweating profusely. He hurriedly looked back at his body. Behind him, the vortex ripple that was about to disappear was clearly only as big as a child's fist. But a white crack still stubbornly drilled in from there. Obito's eyes suddenly widened a lot. That face full of anger and unwillingness was filled with shock and incredulity. Obito, who had been smashed to pieces by Whitebeard's punch and had to waste a Sharingan to survive using Izanagi, knew what the white crack that appeared in front of him meant. Whitebeard's extremely strange vibration power. Can it actually affect the Kami space? What a joke. How is it possible? Obito's face once again showed a look of inexplicable horror. Whitebeard's move was beyond his expectation. Obito couldn't help but shout in surprise. Wood style, exploding forest turtle binding technique. 2 arms of Tobi drilled out of Obito's body. Tobi hurriedly clapped his hands. Suddenly, dense trees sprouted in the Kami space, wrapping Obito completely, forming a huge wooden ball with a diameter of hundreds of meters. Obito, who was in the center of the huge wooden ball, was scared and sweating profusely. He didn't have time to think so much, he decisively clapped his hands. Ninjutsu, adamantine sealing technique. Dense spells quickly climbed on the surface of the huge wooden ball. Obito's actions did not stop because of this. He took out a scroll, bit his finger, and slapped it on the scroll. Ninjutsu, summoning technique. A large gunbai fan appeared in Obito's hand. Obito, who had done all this, only took less than 2 seconds. He didn't expect that he could burst out such amazing potential in his life. This is the potential for survival. Crack at this moment, even Obito in the Kami space could hear the very crisp sound of glass shattering. The crisp sound was like the horn blown forcefully by the Grim Reaper. The entire Kami space began to turn upside down. The strong vibration power from the Quake fruit was wreaking havoc on everything in the Kami space. The ninja tools, scrolls, and money that Obito had stored in the Kami space over the years were the first to suffer a great calamity. Each shuriken, each ninja sword, each scroll, each banknote were instantly torn apart by the vibration power. The ground of the Kami space was all shaken out with ferocious cracks. Each ferocious crack was at least a few meters wide, and the widest ones were even tens, close to 100 meters wide. The space in the mysterious space was also twisted and vibrated by the vibration power. The giant wooden ball protecting Obito, under the violent vibration, also began to crack. The runes climbing on the surface of the wooden ball had just emitted a few glimmers of light, and they were all shattered by the vibration power. The giant wooden ball that lost the reinforcement of the special seal could no longer withstand the awakening power of the Quake fruit. Under Obito's inexplicably horrified gaze, the entire wooden ball actually exploded. Boom boom boom. The deafening explosion made Obito's eardrums ache. Dense white cracks spread over most of the Kami space. The cracks also began to spread to Obito's body. Obito only had time to block the gunbai fan in front of him, and Tobi, who was attached to Obito's body, was also hastily squeezing all his power. The next second, the gunbai fan in his hand bent and collapsed in an exaggerated manner. The body of the gunbai fan was shaking violently. There was a feeling that it was about to shatter in Obito's palm. Damn. This vibration power is not only coming from the front. Obito was horrified to find that the vibration power came from all directions. The gunbai fan in his hand could only barely resist the vibration power from the front. Left, right, back, up, down. I can't resist. Ah! As Tobi's body gradually cracked, Obito's miserable scream echoed through the Kami space. His body couldn't bear the destructive power of this vibration at all. It can be clearly seen that Obito's feet have already shattered. His blood splattered. Then came his calves, knees, ears. Every part of his body began to explode inch by inch like firecrackers. Obito. Don't dissolve our fusion. Spore ninjutsu long-distance communication technique. Tobi, before his arms were about to be shattered, tried his best to put his hands together and shouted loudly, Obito. Use your Kami to open an exit. At the last moment of life and death, Toby faintly sensed that he had a special connection with a place in the ninja world. Obito, too, in his terror, the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes was spinning like a windmill. With a bang, both Toby and Obito turned into a puff of smoke and disappeared. At the same time, in a hidden corner of the ninja world, ninjutsu summoning jutsu. A bizarre black figure, not wearing a shred of clothing, and not like a human form, used a summoning ninjutsu. White smoke rose in front of Zetsu's eyes. A humanoid creature appeared in front of Black Zetsu. That's right. The person who used the summoning jutsu was indeed Black Zetsu's body. In front of Black Zetsu, the humanoid creature looked quite miserable. The other party's body was covered in blood, and many limbs were lost, as if they were fished out of a blood pool. Obito lost his legs, lost his hands, also lost the symbol of a man, and even more so, he had no ears. The skin all over his body had already burst open. Inside, tendons, blood vessels, muscles, and bones were all exposed. Obito was dying and fell into a deep coma. Obi was also in a bad state. Only a palm-sized piece of Obi shell remained on Obito, which just happened to cover a layer of shell on Obito's head. Perhaps it was this layer of shell that barely allowed Obito to survive. It prevented Obito's head from being shattered. What a heavy injury! If it weren't for the wood-style cells, you would have died dozens of times. Black Zetsu looked down at the bloody Obito with an expressionless face. Obito's appearance was no different from that of a human pig. Even this rather special clone almost didn't make it. Black Zetsu frowned slightly. Dobi, wood-style, Mangekyo Sharingan. Even with all of them combined, and they ended up in such a miserable situation? Could it be another conflict with that Whitebeard? Black Zetsu thought of Whitebeard for the first time. Because Black Zetsu knew that Obito wanted to go to Hidden Leaf Village to take back his Mangekyo Sharingan. In Hidden Leaf Village, who else could beat Obito into this shape other than the incredibly mysterious Whitebeard? Black Zetsu was filled with endless doubts and confusion. Where did that guy come from? I've been wandering around the ninja world for so many years, why have I never heard of such a character? In Black Zetsu's eyes, Whitebeard was like a man who popped out of a crack in the rock. The power he used was not like the power possessed by the ninja world. It was like an alien that popped out of nowhere. Confused as he was, Black Zetsu still had to treat Obito immediately. At least to save Obito's life. In Black Zetsu's many years of planning, Obito is an indispensable piece. If this piece is lost, the many years of planning will have to be completely overturned, and a new millennium plan will need to be formulated. Black Zetsu didn't want to wait any longer. He had been waiting for thousands of years, and his mother had been sealed for thousands of years. He must seize this opportunity. Black Zetsu began to save Obito. On the other side, Hidden Leaf Village. The power of vibration that twisted and shook space finally slowly subsided. All the people in Hidden Leaf Village regained control of their bodies. The scene in front of them was no longer upside down. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr landed on the ground, he let out a hearty sigh. It's so refreshing. It's been a long time since I've been so refreshed. Gorr. In Whitebeard's memory, the last time he used the awakening ability of the Quake Fruit Devil Fruit was more than a decade ago. Back then, he and Sengoku had a big battle on an island. They sank the island. Whitebeard, with a flash of reminiscence in his eyes, suddenly missed his old opponents on the sea. If it were them, they would never be like that Uchiha brat when facing his attack. They would never scared and ran away in a panic. Chapter 231, Whitebeard, Kakashi, be my son. It's over. Denzo, who was pushing his wheelchair to the shelter of the root, felt a great relief. Although he was not very clear about what happened outside, he could feel that the dizzying sense of spatial displacement had finally disappeared. Only then did Denzo find that his whole body was soaked in cold sweat. He looked like he had been fished out of the pool. He didn't know who Whitebeard was targeting, he only knew that Whitebeard's power seemed to be stronger than before. This made Denzo feel very incredible. A person of such an old age, almost a decade older than him, Denzo. Why can such a man on that old age still become stronger? Could it be that Tsunade gave Whitebeard treatment for his hidden illness, which made Whitebeard change from a sickly old man to a vigorous one? Denzo couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He just found out. His hands were shaking. Even if the spinning of the world had stopped, his hands were still shaking. Wait. Denzo suddenly thought of a possibility. Whitebeard's shot, could it be related to that Madara Uchiha? Because it was too coincidental. The last time the other party appeared in Hidden Leaf Village, Whitebeard had a fight with the other party at the Uchiha clan's residence. This time the other party appeared in Hidden Leaf Village. Whitebeard didn't know who he had a fight with. Denzo's eyes gradually widened. He felt that the probability of this possibility was very high. which made him involuntarily shrink his pupils. Not good. My root ninjas. Denzo didn't know whether the subordinates he had sent out were alive or dead. He always felt that their survival probability was very slim. Hold on. Will the Whitebeard pirates judge that Denzo is related to this matter through the members of the root? Quick. Someone. At this point in his mind, Denzo didn't know whether his prediction was accurate or not. He only knew that he had to believe in the survival instinct in his heart. Being stared at by others, Denzo has a certain confidence that he will not die. Being stared at by Whitebeard, he has no confidence at all. Quick. Take me away. But soon, Denzo felt that it was not safe to just leave here. He hurriedly added a sentence. Quick. Take me out of Hidden Leaf Village. Only by leaving Hidden Leaf Village is it safer for him. Denzo decided to leave Hidden Leaf Village for a while to hide. Cough cough. Conan had a hard time maintaining that cold image of an angel. She leaned against the wall, covering her abdomen. There was an urge to vomit, but she forcibly held it back. The feeling of space dislocation and spinning just now had a great impact on Conan. She was a little panicked at the time, because the twisting of space made Conan unable to move. The constant vibration and inversion of space made Conan's heart palpitate even more. At this time, she suddenly felt that Nagato's full-powered almighty push seemed to be unable to twist or vibrate space, right? This kind of vibration power. Could it be that Whitebeard? In the information Conan had, the only man in the entire ninja world who could use this power was the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, Edward Newgate. If this was really the power of that man just now, does it mean that Whitebeard and Nagato are on par? Even, the other party's power, in terms of pure destructive power, is even more terrifying than Nagato? Conan vaguely understood why the fourth Mizukage of Hidden Mist Village, who was a perfect Jinchuriki, was so easily defeated by Whitebeard. She somewhat understood why the three-tailed beast was directly killed by Whitebeard, and now she didn't know where it was resurrecting from. A man with such a powerful force, with his own power, can kill a perfect Jinchuriki and a tailed beast. Isn't that very simple? Whitebeard. Conan murmured bitterly. I didn't expect that. I still underestimated you a while ago. Your danger level needs to be raised a few more levels. She thought she had estimated Whitebeard high enough. Who would have thought that it was still an underestimation of Whitebeard? Whitebeard's strength is like a vast ocean. When you think you have touched the bottom of the sea, you find a large valley in front of you. A Belerg? Jiraiya, who was already drunk, couldn't maintain any image. Jiraiya drank so much flower wine tonight, and now he vomited as much. He vomited so much that it was dark, and the stomach acid was about to vomit out. Jiraiya felt his legs were a bit soft, not only because he drank too much wine, but also because the space was inverted just now, which made him lose his direction and balance. The place where Jiraiya was located could look at the distant scenery. He wiped the corner of his mouth with his hand, and his suffocated face was full of horror. He opened his eyes today. This kind of power is stronger than my sage mode, right? He found it hard to imagine who could withstand this blow from Whitebeard. It can't be that Naruto's Nine Tails lost control, and then the entire Nine Tails came out, and finally got a punch from Whitebeard, right? He didn't feel the chakra of the Nine Tails just now. Fortunately. Jiraiya looked at the wall next to him. There were only some slight cracks on the wall. Whitebeard has finally controlled his terrifying power. Although Jiraiya felt that Whitebeard controlled his power, perhaps because he didn't want to hurt his sons and daughters. But after all, he controlled his power. Otherwise, Jiraiya felt that the entire Hidden Leaf Village would be destroyed by this blow. During the war, so many ninja villages wanted to destroy Hidden Leaf Village, but they couldn't do it no matter what. Jiraiya murmured in shock. But Whitebeard can do it to Hidden Leaf Village with a single punch. Saratobe Hiruzen shakily standing at the top of the Hidden Leaf Village Hokage building, he could see the distant events more clearly than Jiraiya. Wood style, the same wood style as the night of the Uchiha clan's extermination. Saratobe Hiruzen was shocked. Whitebeard, is he fighting with the man from the Akatsuki organization who calls himself Madara Uchiha? For some reason, he felt a sense of relief. Because more than a year ago, he was hit by Whitebeard. Whitebeard's blow made him lie in bed for more than a month. At that time, Saratobe Hiruzen still hated Whitebeard very much. Now it seems that Whitebeard is kind enough. After all, he spared his life, Saratobe Hiruzen. If more than a year ago, the blow Whitebeard gave him was comparable to this one now. Hiss. Saratobe Hiruzen, who suddenly had this strange idea, couldn't help but shiver. If the idea that popped up in his mind becomes reality, then he should stop being this Hokage. He might not even be able to leave a whole body. First Hokage-sama, if you were in the village, that would be great. Saratobe Hiruzen was extremely bitter. In Saratobe Hiruzen's eyes, perhaps only the first Hokage of Hidden Leaf Village that can fight with Whitebeard. Pops is too reckless, right? But, being so reckless is Pop's pirate nature. Ha ha ha. Whitebeard's pirate group stationed in near Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto and the others stood on a rooftop, all of them gazing at the distant scene. Naruto was excited beyond measure. Aunt Tsunoda's medical skills are really amazing. Pop's peak power, it's so terrifying. Compared to the fear felt by others, Naruto had no fear in his heart, he was just happy for Whitebeard. Because the stronger Whitebeard is, the stronger the Whitebeard pirates are, and it also means that the Whitebeard pirates, this big family, can continue to sail smoothly in the ninja world. Haku sighed, the corners of his mouth carrying a faint smile. This kind of light smile made him look more like a girl, the feeling of the world turning upside down, even I was startled. Shishui, although he couldn't see the scene in front of him, he could also feel the loss of direction due to the displacement of space. At that time, his newly learned observation haki seemed to have failed. This is the devil fruit ability that Pops mentioned. Shishui murmured, it's said to have the power to destroy the world. Pops. Sasuke's eyes held a bit of hope. Pops is so strong, he can definitely make himself stronger, right? Sasuke felt that he didn't need to have Pop's strong power, maybe he just needed to have half of Pop's power. By then, he should be able to take revenge for the Uchiha clan, right? Karen took off her glasses, because the lenses of her glasses were all shattered by the slight vibration just now. Mom, it shouldn't be a problem for Pops using this kind of power, right? Karen was a bit worried, would the power that Whitebeard used have side effects, would it backlash against Whitebeard? Faashi shook her head, she laughed, if it was a ninja using this kind of power, perhaps they would be backlashed by this power, but don't forget that Pop's body is comparable to a god. Faashi is also a medical ninja, she has a clear understanding of Whitebeard physical strength. Even ordinary steel, definitely does not have the hardness of Whitebeard's muscles. Pops, so powerful. Hinata's eyes were full of admiration. In the Hidden Leaf Village Hospital. These few days, Tsunoda, who had been living in the Hidden Leaf Village Hospital, breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the experimental data was not destroyed, and the hospital was not destroyed. Tsunoda stood in front of a window in a surgery room in the hospital. The window glass had already shattered all over the place. Wood style. Tsunoda's expression on her face was somewhat complicated, she had also seen that giant wooden dragon. Could the person who can use wood style be a descendant of the Senju clan? But for some reason, Tsunoda felt a bit unlike. After all, the Senju bloodline in Tsunoda is pure enough. But even she has not awakened wood style, can other Senju clans who have fallen outside awaken it? Although it's not impossible, but Tsunoda feels that the possibility is very low as winning the lottery. But if the other party has nothing to do with the Senju clan, then what kind of way did they get the power of wood style? That Whitebeard's power, I'm afraid it will scare some of the old guys in the village half to death. Tsunoda suddenly took pleasure in misfortune. She knows that there are a few old guys in the village who don't particularly like Whitebeard, they think Whitebeard is a bandit who broke into Hidden Leaf Village to cause trouble. As long as those few old guys are scared by Whitebeard, Tsunoda feels quite happy. Then, Tsunoda turned her head to look at Kimimaro next to her, refusing to be the son of such a man. Do you regret it? These few days Tsunoda has been with Kimimaro. Because she wants to figure out the genetic disease of the KK Genkai on Kimimaro's body. Do you think Whitebeard is weaker compared to your so-called Orochimaru simul? Tsunoda didn't mind giving Kimimaro a bit of a reality check. Because she also thinks that Orochimaru has gone a bit too far. He actually used such an excellent child as a vessel for reincarnation. Faced with Tsunoda's two questions, Kimimaro fell silent. Even if Orochimaru-sama is not Whitebeard's opponent, he can't be easily defeated. Kimimaro paid a shallow respect to Orochimaru-sama. TSK, you little devil. You've been brainwashed by that guy. Tsunoda shook her head helplessly. I understand Orochimaru better than you do, and I understand him more deeply. When he gets a vessel that is better than you one day, you are just a dispensable pawn to him. At that time, he might even be too lazy to study your KK Genkai genetic disease, and too lazy to treat your disease. Tsunoda crossed her arms in front of her chest, she is now in the form of a large chest. Some parts were squeezed out of a large crevice with her movements. By comparison, the Whitebeard pirate group might be a better home for you, little brat. Tsunoda said, even though you have nothing to do with the Whitebeard pirate group. But Naruto, that stinky kid, still tried his best to ask me to treat your disease. Kimimaro fell into thought and silence again. Kimimaro, who was only 10 years old, naturally couldn't out-talk Tsunoda. He was also made a bit confused by Tsunoda's words. If he were a few years older, he would selectively ignore what Tsunoda said. But children of this age are most easily influenced by others' words. Kakashi, do you know that rat who calls himself Madara Uchiha? Meanwhile, in a messy battlefield. Kisame suddenly asked Kakashi curiously. I found that you seemed very shocked when you saw his real face, and you seemed to call him Obito. Kisame held the big sword Saimata in one hand and touched his rough chin with the other. So, is that guy's real name Obito? Guy had already put Kakashi down, and he said, Obito? Kakashi was silent for a few seconds, his expression very complex. In the end, Kakashi sighed and still spoke. I do know him, his full name is Obito Uchiha. After saying that, Kakashi touched his left eye. This eye of mine is Obito's eye. He was once my good friend, and even more so, my comrade. Kakashi's eyes showed a bit of confusion. He was clearly dead in the Third Ninja World War, but now he appeared in front of me alive. Oh? Whitebeard suddenly became interested. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr story? Kakashi felt there was nothing wrong with saying this. He said his past memories in brief sentences. He talked for a full 10 minutes. So, Kisame was surprised. That guy named Obito Uchiha, during the Battle of the Kainabi Bridge, you saw him die on the battlefield with your own eyes? Wait a minute. Kisame reacted. That guy's right half of his body is obviously different from the other side of his body. Was he saved by someone after the war? I don't know. Kakashi shook his head in a daze. I only know that Obito has become a bit unrecognizable to me. In Kakashi's mind, he should be happy knowing that Obito is still alive. If Obito wanted to get the Sharingan back, as long as Obito took the initiative to speak up, Kakashi would not hesitate to dig out the Sharingan. But Kakashi couldn't be happy, because the current Obito was completely different from the Obito of the past. The other party wanted to take back his eye, even at the cost of killing Kakashi. And, did Obito also participate in the Uchiha clan's massacre night? Was it him who bewitched Itachi Uchiha and destroyed the Uchiha clan? Also, did Obito control the 4th Mizukage of Hidden Mist Village and single-handedly created the Blood Mist policy of Hidden Mist Village? Wait. Kakashi's eyes suddenly widened. He remembered a very old piece of information. A few years ago, a mysterious masked man wanted to kill Naruto when he was a baby, and it was his teacher, Minato Namikaze, who stopped him. Was that also Obito? Kakashi was stunned. Kakashi, no matter who he is, no matter if he is really Obito Uchiha, everything he has done has put Hidden Leaf Village, the ninja world, and you, into crisis. Guy said very seriously, you absolutely cannot treat this person as the previous Obito Uchiha. Because, he no longer treats you as a companion. If he still has a bit of friendship for you, how could he kill you? What you need to do now is not to be downcast, nor to be confused about why he is alive. What you need to do is to stop him. And ask him clearly why he wants to do this. Guy's voice allowed Kakashi's lost eyes to regain some spirit. Yes. Why did Obito do this? He must find Obito, he must question him face to face, he must ask clearly. He wants to bring Obito back, to correct his behavior and thinking. Thank you, Guy. Kakashi took a deep breath. I will find him, and I will ask clearly, if he is still stubborn. Kakashi's fist tightened slightly. I will stop him. Kakashi knew that Obito seemed to be on a wrong path. He vowed to get Obito to the right path. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr glanced at Kakashi and dropped a heart-piercing knife. Can you beat him? That Uchiha kid may be a bit timid, but he's also stronger than you, right? Kakashi. It has to be said that Whitebeard was right. If there were no Kisame and Guy today, if Whitebeard hadn't appeared in time, Kakashi would have died long ago. White-haired brat, if you want to chase a friend who has gone down the wrong path, you can't do it with just your mouth. Whitebeard grinned. Without enough power, you can't convince anyone. You have to beat him first, then convince him. Fortunately, the Whitebeard pirates have such enough power. Gorrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr expression, Whitebeard extended a hand to Kakashi. Kakashi Hatake. Be my son. Chapter 232, Whitebeard's new son. The new crew member of the pirate group. Third Hokage, what's wrong with Denzo? The hand that Whitebeard voluntarily extended, along with the words he spoke, left Kakashi in a daze. He didn't know why Whitebeard was so insistent on making him his son. Did he have any advantages or special traits? Or was it that for Whitebeard, he didn't care about a person's advantages or special traits, he wanted to adopt whoever he wanted as his son? Kakashi thought the latter was more likely. Because that was the kind of character Whitebeard was, and Kakashi understood this very well. When this thought flashed through his mind, Kakashi suddenly realized, how did he understand Whitebeard so well? Even he was a bit surprised. He was clearly not a crew member of the Whitebeard pirates, let alone Whitebeard's son. But he understood Whitebeard better than anyone else in the ninja world, except for Naruto. Even the sons and daughters that Whitebeard adopted later didn't understand Whitebeard as well as Kakashi did. Kakashi almost instinctively wanted to say refuse, because this was becoming a habit for him. He had already refused Whitebeard many times before. But for some reason, this time those words of refusal were stuck in his throat and he couldn't say them. The reason Kakashi refused Whitebeard before was because he was a ninja of Hidden Leaf Village. He had feelings for the village of Hidden Leaf Village, he also recognized his own identity, and was somewhat loyal to the third Hokage. The reason he couldn't say the words of refusal this time was because he no longer wanted to be a ninja of Hidden Leaf Village, and he had lost his loyalty to the third Hokage. In other words, Kakashi had become a rogue ninja. Maybe in the future, he will even be considered a traitor to Hidden Leaf Village. After all, the village would never allow an Anbu Jonin to just quit being a ninja. Oh, he is already a root ninja now. As a Jonin of Hidden Leaf Village, Kakashi knew too much important information and secrets about Hidden Leaf Village. Without permission, if he doesn't want to be a ninja of Hidden Leaf Village, he will inevitably be considered a traitor. By then, Kakashi might not even know if he can stay in Hidden Leaf Village. Calling himself a rogue ninja is not an exaggeration, this is Kakashi's prediction for his future. When Whitebeard didn't appear, the only path in front of Kakashi was this one. Other than rogue ninja. He had no other choice. Maybe he could pretend that nothing happened and be a root ninja in peace. But that's not what he wanted to do. He's been half kneeling for so many years, can't he stand up once? After Whitebeard appeared, another path appeared in front of Kakashi, recognizing Whitebeard as his father and joining the Whitebeard pirates. It was also at this time that some memories of the past year or so flashed through Kakashi's mind. Encountering Whitebeard asking him to be his son for the first time, witnessing Whitebeard's immense power, following Whitebeard to leave Hidden Leaf Village, acting as the ninjutsu mentor for Naruto, Karen, and Fuashi, serving as Whitebeard's encyclopedia of the ninja world, acting as the piggy bank for Whitebeard's pirate crew, repeatedly cleaning up the mess left by Whitebeard's pirate crew's antics. Rescuing Hidden Mist Village, Hidden Grass Village with Whitebeard's pirate crew, becoming best friends with Kisame, being saved by Whitebeard. One memory after another flickered in Kakashi's mind. Kakashi realized that what he had done was too much like a qualified pirate. Those who didn't know might even think that the previous Kakashi Hatake was one of Whitebeard's pirate crew. And then there's Obito. Kakashi knew that with his own power, he probably couldn't bring Obito back. Nor could he make Obito realize that he had taken the wrong path. Only by joining Whitebeard's pirate crew could he have a chance to bring back Obito and correct Obito's mistakes. What's more, he had already broken Hidden Leaf Village's forehead protector. What's the problem with joining Whitebeard's pirate crew? Whitebeard, a legendary pirate who transcends the cage level, has invited him to join Whitebeard's pirate crew countless times. Even Uzumaki Fuashi, Hoshigaki Kisame, and even Whitebeard himself and Whitebeard's pirate crew, have all saved him and owe him a great favor. Moreover, Kakashi had to admit that the family atmosphere and family concept of Whitebeard's pirate crew was a temptation he couldn't resist. Facing Whitebeard's outstretched hand, facing his current situation, facing his goal. Kakashi took a deep breath, trying to sweep away the fatigue on his face. At this moment, he had made a decision that would affect his life. If a child like Sasuke Uchiha could put down the pride of the Uchiha clan, why was he still hesitating? Kakashi tried to stand up straight, and he walked slowly towards Whitebeard. Guy next to him reached out his hand, but Guy, with a complex expression, did not stop Kakashi in the end. Guy respected Kakashi's decision. Mainly because, Guy had a deep understanding of Whitebeard's pirate crew through Kisame. He felt that Kakashi leaving Hidden Leaf Village and joining Whitebeard's pirate crew was not a mistake. In the witness of Kisame and Guy, Kakashi put his blood-stained hand on Whitebeard's big hand. Compared to Whitebeard's big hand, Kakashi's hand was even smaller than a baby's hand. When their palms touched, Kakashi realized that the calluses on Whitebeard's hand were so thick, like a layer of alloy steel. This man. I don't know how many battles he has gone through. I don't know how much effort he has put in to have such power. Kakashi took a deep breath, looked up at Whitebeard's somewhat expectant eyes. In the end, Kakashi did not disappoint Whitebeard's expectations. He understood Whitebeard better than many people. So, Kakashi used his greatest strength and voice. He bowed his head and shouted seriously, "Pops. No need to kneel, no need to bow 90 degrees, no need for too much ceremony. To become Whitebeard's son, all you need to do is to make Whitebeard feel comfortable, and sincerely shout out Pop's words." Kakashi's attitude is sincere enough. His colorful and emotional shout echoed around, as if there were echoes rushing back from all directions. Gorr. Gorr. Whitebeard laughed in succession, his laughter becoming louder and more hearty. Kakashi, it's not easy to make you become my son. Gorr. Whitebeard actually squatted down and took Kakashi into his arms. My son's goal is naturally the goal of all the people in the Whitebeard Pirates. Your family members, including me, will help you catch that Uchiha brat. Whitebeard's crescent beard trembled. He naturally knew that such a cunning and timid Uchiha brat would not easily die in his hands. Whitebeard laughed loudly. From now on, the Whitebeard Pirates will be your new family, Kakashi Hatake, and everyone in the pirate group will be your family. Kakashi didn't know how long it had been since he had felt moved. Since his mother, father, Obito, Rin, Minato-sensei, Kushina-sensei, and others died in front of him one after another, Kakashi's emotions seemed particularly closed. During this period, because of various things, his emotions also revealed a lot, but he did not reveal moved emotions. But today, now, Kakashi feels a bit moved. The third Hokage, whom he had been loyal to for many years, did not give him the attention he deserved. On the contrary, it was Whitebeard who had always valued him and was happy to convey the goodwill of the pirates to him. Although this goodwill is a bit rough, but it's also goodwill. Kakashi felt his nose was a bit sour, and his vision was a bit blurry. He knew that he had chosen the right path. He understood even more that the third Hokage and Whitebeard could not be compared to Whitebeard at all. Because the former is not worthy of comparison with the latter. Gorr. Silly sons. Let's continue the banquet tomorrow. Whitebeard was very happy, seeing Obito's bad mood had long since vanished. The reason for the banquet tomorrow is that it is almost late at night now. Then, Whitebeard also looked at Guy on the side and smiled. Thick-browed kid, are you interested in attending the pirates' banquet? Whitebeard, who was in a good mood, even invited others to attend the pirates' banquet. The next day. Early morning. The temporary residence of the Whitebeard Pirates was very lively, with exaggerated large pots set up on the roadside, and almost all the pots were filled with marinated meat. Banquets are not only held at night, but can also be held during the day. The people attending this banquet, in addition to the crew members of the Whitebeard Pirates, also included the survivors of the Uchiha clan. These survivors of the Uchiha clan, although they did not recognize Whitebeard as their father, they are also considered to be the ninja under the command of the Whitebeard Pirates. They need to rely on the Whitebeard Pirates to protect them, and they are barely considered a member of the pirate group. Tsunade, Kimimaro, Shizune, and Guy also came to join in the fun. Tsunade and Shizune simply came to eat, but they also had to watch Kimimaro, so they brought Kimimaro along. Guy came because Whitebeard invited him over last night, and this banquet happened to be for his friend. Two factors mixed together. Guy must come. Burped. Tsunade burped, she was a bit tipsy. The lively atmosphere in the temporary residence of Whitebeard's pirate crew seemed a bit out of place compared to other parts of Hidden Leaf Village, but Tsunade quite liked this feeling. Mainly because there were not many ninjas here, and Tsunade least liked places with many ninjas. Kakashi, you've actually betrayed Hidden Leaf Village too. Tsunade's clean arm rested on Kakashi's shoulder, and the other hand was holding a jug of wine. Tsunade joked with a smile. You little brat, have you thought clearly about becoming a rebel of Hidden Leaf Village? I've thought it through. Kakashi had never thought that he would be so popular one day. This popularity was different from the kind of popularity he had when he was at the Jonin school. There was no complex expression on Kakashi's face, and the confusion in his eyes had dissipated last night. In response to Tsunade's question, Kakashi replied. After being an Anbu ninja for so many years, I'm already tired and weary. At this point, Kakashi looked at Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, aren't you the same? I'm not the same as you little brat. Tsunade chuckled. I'm not afraid to hurt your heart when I say it, I'm the princess of Hidden Leaf Village. Even if I don't want to be a ninja, the village won't judge me as a rebel of the village. Kakashi shook his head helplessly. There's no way, this is also the rule of the village, since I chose this path, then I have to ignore this rule. Although he felt a bit emotional that he could become a renegade one day, Kakashi did not regret it. The village thought he was a renegade, but he didn't think he was a renegade, because he didn't do anything harmful to the village. That was enough. Moreover, Kakashi said, Whitebeard's pirate crew has allowed me to find the meaning of a person's existence, at least I won't have suicidal thoughts as easily as before. At this point, Kakashi couldn't help but show a few smiles. For me, it's also a good new beginning. TSK. Tsunade also showed a smile. It's good that you can open your heart. Tsunade will not consider the old guys in the village. It's just a bit of a pity that the village lost a Jonin. But there's no way, who made those old guys operate in their own way, and couldn't keep such a Jonin. Tsunade has seen more than once that the old guys in Hidden Leaf Village operate in various ways, and finally push one genius after another to the outside of Hidden Leaf Village, and even cause one genius after another to fall. Including but not limited to geniuses are Kakashi Hatake, Tsukumo Hatake, Shizue Uchiha, Naruto Uzumaki, Izumi Uchiha, or Orochimaru. Tsunade just simply recalled a little in her mind. One name after another popped out. If these people were all in Hidden Leaf Village might be able to challenge the entire ninja world with the power of a ninja village. Kakashi. Ulu. Kakashi ah. Kakashi. A sudden exaggerated shout came from one side. Kakashi quickly turned his head to look, and saw a guy with tears streaming down his face, running over here. Before Kakashi had time to dodge, he was hugged by Guy. Guy's snot and tears were all rubbed on Kakashi's clothes. What if Whitebeard's pirate crew leaves Hidden Leaf Village one day? What should I do? Ulu. Youth, is this the indispensable pain of youth? Guy, with exaggerated tears streaming down his face, forcefully patted Kakashi's back. Kakashi, if you ever leave Hidden Leaf Village, remember that Hidden Leaf Village has your true friends. Idiot, it hurts. Kakashi felt a burning pain in his back from the pat, and he had several black lines on his head. Your tone. Sounds like I'm about to die. Oh right. Guy suddenly remembered something. When I just came over, two Anbu ninjas stopped me and asked me what happened last night. Maybe it's because the morning peacock I used last night was too conspicuous, letting them know that I was also there. Ha ha ha. Guy scratched his head. I told them what happened last night. There should be no problem, right? Kakashi shook his head. The village will know about this sooner or later. There's no difference whether they know in advance or find out later. After all, this is not a secret. Kakashi left Hidden Leaf Village and joined the Whitebeard Pirates. Is there a need to hide it? Meanwhile, Hokage Building. Hokage-sama. There's urgent news. An Anbu ninja entered without Sarutobi Hiruzan's permission and hurriedly reported to the somewhat weary Sarutobi Hiruzan. Hokage-sama, we have roughly figured out what happened last night. Oh? Sarutobi Hiruzan's action of smoking his pipe paused slightly. He forced himself to stay awake and immediately perked up. What exactly happened last night? Tell me everything. The reason he was so tired was because Sarutobi Hiruzan didn't sleep all night last night. He dared not sleep. He simply dared not sleep. He was afraid that if he fell asleep, Whitebeard would suddenly throw a punch, shattering him into pieces, and then he would never wake up again. Hokage-sama, the initial small-scale disturbance last night was a group of root ninjas attacking Kakashi Hatake. And, there was also a group of root ninjas assassinating Hidden Rain Village ninjas. During that time, when Kakashi Hatake was entangled with the Anbu ninjas, Hoshigaki Kisame and Might Guy rushed to save Kakashi. Also, all the root ninjas who assassinated the Hidden Rain Village ninja were killed in retaliation. And, Hidden Rain Village wants Hidden Leaf Village to give them an explanation. The intelligence of the Anbu ninja was shocking. Sarutobi Hiruzan was completely stunned by these report. Huh? Sarutobi Hiruzan wondered if he was getting old and hard of hearing, and then heard wrong? Root ninjas attacked Kakashi last night? And then assassinated Hidden Rain Village's ninja. Wait a minute, what the hell is Denzo doing? Sarutobi Hiruzan was dumbfounded. Hokage-sama, according to the intelligence obtained by the Anbu, it was the original leader of the root, Shimura Denzo working together with Akatsuki's member, Obito Uchiha to snatch Kakashi Hatake's Sharingan. The so-called intelligence in the mouth of the Anbu ninja, at least 80%, was heard from Guy. Another group of root ninjas tried to assassinating Hidden Rain Village ninja. It's not clear what the reason is. We guess it's likely to frame and shift the blame. Sarutobi Hiruzan found the name Obito Uchiha a bit familiar. But his doubts were swallowed up by the anger that surged in his heart. Bullshit. Nonsense. What the hell is Denzo doing? The Akatsuki organization joined forces with Root to snatch Kakashi's Sharingan. Is this something a person could do? Even if Sarutobi Hiruzan wanted to ostracize Kakashi, he would only transfer Kakashi to the Root. But Denzo was different. He wanted Kakashi's life. Kakashi is a jonin of the village. If the news of ninjas from the same village kill each other gets out, the whole village will be in turmoil. By then even the third Hokage wouldn't know how to protect Denzo. Where is Kakashi? How is Kakashi? Sarutobi Hiruzan didn't really care about Kakashi's life or death. He didn't want to use Kakashi anymore. Kakashi was dispensable to him. But the surface concern still needs to be shown in front of others. The tone of the Anbu ninja was somewhat complicated and a bit shocked. Hokage-sama, Kakashi Hatake. He should be fine. But. Hearing the word but, Sarutobi Hiruzan suddenly had a bad feeling. But what? The Anbu ninja reported, but, Kakashi Hatake, for some reason, recognized Whitebeard as his father and joined Whitebeard's pirate crew. Now, Whitebeard's pirate crew is holding a welcome party? specifically for Kakashi Hatake. As soon as the words fell, it was quiet for a moment. Huh? Chapter 233, Leaving Hidden Leaf Village. Whitebeard's pirate crew is about to set sail again. Kidnap people on board? Saratobi Hiruzen stood in place for several seconds. He couldn't imagine that Kakashi would choose to join Whitebeard's pirate crew one day. You know, Kakashi is a jonin of Hidden Leaf Village. He is also a ninja whom Hidden Leaf Village has worked hard to train into a great ninja. What does it mean for him to join Whitebeard's pirate crew? Does he want to abandon his identity as a jonin of Hidden Leaf Village and become a lawless pirate? The key is, why did he join Whitebeard's pirate crew? What reason made him want to give up his identity as a jonin of Hidden Leaf Village? Could it be because of Denzo's crazy operation, Kakashi completely lost hope in Hidden Leaf Village? Just like Shizue before? Or is it Kakashi originally Whitebeard's pirate crew from the start? He was indeed the one who revealed Naruto's identity to Naruto, which eventually caused him to suffer a lot. So, he joined Whitebeard's pirate crew because his operation of transferring him to the route by the third Hokage made Kakashi suspect that his behavior was exposed. So Kakashi started to feel guilty, and began to feel that this Hokage of his might use more extreme methods to deal with him. He betrayed Hidden Leaf Village and chose to join Whitebeard's pirate crew? Why did he do this? Why would he think so? Is it because the death of Tsukumo Hatake has always been a concern for Kakashi? Kakashi has always held a grudge against this matter, so he is taking the opportunity to retaliate against Hidden Leaf Village? In just a few seconds, one after another, doubts and guesses flashed through Saratobi Hiruzen's mind. His face changed unpredictably, his hand holding the pipe exerted a slight force, and the veins on the back of his hand were exposed. He believed that each of his guesses had some reason. Saratobi Hiruzen probably figured out Kakashi's reason of his betrayal. Because of his father's suicide, harbored resentment towards Hidden Leaf Village, he deliberately revealed Naruto's real identity and third Hokage's secret, which ultimately led to him being slandered by thousands of people. He transferred Kakashi to Anbu, causing Kakashi to have doubts. Denzo and the Akatsuki organization joined forces, causing Kakashi to misunderstand that it was him, the Hokage, who wanted to send someone to kill Kakashi. So, Kakashi joined the Whitebeard pirates and sought Whitebeard's protection. The case is closed. Kakashi, you have disappointed me too much. Saratobi Hiruzen gritted his teeth, his lungs were about to explode with anger, and Denzo, what on earth have you done? How could you do such a thing? In the end, was I to indulge it with you? Kakashi has a small reputation in Hidden Leaf Village, and his reputation in the ninja world is also very large, even larger than Shizue's reputation. If such a ninja joins the Whitebeard pirates, and this matter spreads throughout Hidden Leaf Village, Saratobi Hiruzen found it hard to imagine what kind of impact this would have. Especially if what Denzo did spread throughout Hidden Leaf Village, what would the other ninjas in the village think? What if one day the ninjas in the village, once they receive some unfair treatment, they don't care about anything, and also follow Kakashi's example, choose to leave Hidden Leaf Village and join the Whitebeard pirates? By then, wouldn't Hidden Leaf Village be the biggest clown? There was a Shizue Uchiha before, and now Kakashi Hatake. These two cases are enough to shake the hearts of the people in the village. Saratobi Hiruzen really wanted to let the Anbu ninja catch Kakashi back. Then, in front of Kakashi's face, question him directly about what he was thinking. But the problem is, Kakashi is now at the temporary residence of the Whitebeard pirates, participating in the welcoming banquet of the Whitebeard pirates. If he sends out Anbu ninjas to run to that place, I'm afraid the one who will be caught is not Kakashi Hatake, but the Anbu ninja he sent out. Maybe by then it won't be him questioning Kakashi, but the entire Whitebeard pirates, coming over to question him, Saratobi Hiruzen. Thinking of this, Saratobi Hiruzen feels somewhat numb. The Whitebeard pirates are definitely the death bell for him. Kakashi joining the Whitebeard pirates because he simply doesn't know how to treat Kakashi well. Bringing Kakashi back is a death-seeking behavior. In the end, Saratobi Hiruzen chose to put this matter behind him. He felt his own life is more important. Such a powerful existence like Whitebeard is absolutely not to be provoked. Denzo, where did Denzo go? Saratobi Hiruzen suddenly thought of someone, and he questioned the Anbu ninja in front of him. He felt that, since Kakashi joined the Whitebeard pirates, Denzo had to carry at least half of the blame. How did he have the guts to cooperate with the Akatsuki organization? Hokage-sama, our people have already arrived at the Hidden Leaf Village prison early this morning. The Anbu ninja replied with his head down. There is a root ninja there, he should be left by Denzo to pass us a message. That root ninja said that Denzo has left Hidden Leaf Village overnight. At least within 3 months, Denzo will not return to Hidden Leaf Village. Our people also asked that root ninja where Denzo is, but that root ninja doesn't know either. Saratobi Hiruzen. He suddenly found that the anger rising in his chest, he didn't know where to vent for a while. Kakashi has Whitebeard's protection, and Denzo just ran away. Saratobi Hiruzen suddenly touched his heart. His face turned green for a while. And then it turned white. Covering his heart, he paused for a good 10 seconds before he recovered. He was so angry at Kakashi and Denzo that his heart was in pain. For now, the scale of Whitebeard's pirate crew is actually not small. Whitebeard, Naruto, Fuashi, Karen, Haku, Kisame, Shizui, Hinata, Izumi, Sasuke, Kakashi, just the core members of the pirate crew, there are already as many as 10 people. If you add the Genin clan and ninja village of the pirate crew, there are at least 20 or so ninjas in Hidden Grass Village, and there are probably still several hundred ninjas left in Hidden Mist Village, plus the survivors of the Uchiha clan. The number of core and peripheral people is close to 700. Of course, the goal of Whitebeard's pirate crew is to reach 1,600 core members. Compared with his goal, 10 core members, that's indeed not many. Stupid sons. Stupid daughters. Gorrrr. I have something to announce. At the end of the banquet, Whitebeard, who was drunk, raised a huge wine bowl high with a strong drunkenness. His hearty laughter also attracted the attention of everyone. Whitebeard's drunken eyes swept over the crowd in front of him. The smile on his face grew stronger and stronger. I'm very interested in those tailed beasts in the ninja world, but I'll have no chance to catch the tailed beast if I'm staying in this Hidden Leaf village. The reason why I'm interested in tailed beasts is also very simple. That kind of big fox, big turtle, can enhance the strength of the pirate crew in a short time. With the power of the tailed beasts, it can make you have the strength to stand alone faster. So, tomorrow, Whitebeard's pirate crew will set sail. Gorrrr. Whitebeard's interest in tailed beasts has not faded over time. For Whitebeard, catching tailed beasts is no different from looking for treasure. It's reasonable for pirates to look for treasure. So it's also reasonable for pirates to catch tailed beasts. Catch tailed beasts? Kisame grinned, showing a mouthful of sharp teeth. He raised a cup of wine full of fine wine and shouted, "Pops, you are the captain of Whitebeard's pirate crew. As long as you says a word, we will catch all the tailed beasts in the entire ninja world for you, Pops." Kisame drank all the wine in his cup in one breath. Ha laughed, and sneered, "I'm tired of this place in Hidden Leaf Village. Indeed, pirates have to set sail. Catching the tailed beasts." Shizui murmured thoughtfully, "Does Pops want to make some of the weaker family members become Jinchuriki of the tailed beasts? To give them enough power to stand in the ninja world?" Shizui also showed a bit of a smile. "If that's the case, then we should indeed catch all the tailed beasts in the entire ninja world." Shizui even felt that the number of tailed beasts in the ninja world was a bit insufficient. He heard that there were only 9 tailed beasts, one of which was already in Naruto, leaving only 8. If the Whitebeard pirates recruit new members at a very fast speed, 9 tailed beasts are definitely not enough. After all, there will always be some crew members who are younger and their strength cannot stand alone. They need the power of the tailed beasts. Naruto's eyes seemed to be shining. Is the Whitebeard pirates about to set sail? Yay! Naruto cheered. Just as our ship is coming from the land of water, if we set off tomorrow, maybe the Moby Dick will just arrive at the land of fire, then we can board that big ship. Leaving Hidden Leaf Village. Hinata was a little hesitant, but when she saw the excited and expectant look on Naruto's face next to her, the hesitation on Hinata's face disappeared instantly. In its place was a somewhat red face, and even steam was coming out of her head. Then, wouldn't that mean I can sail on the same ship with Naruto-kun? We're going to see. Karen had already put on a new pair of glasses, and she was also a little expectant. The Moby Dick has been built for almost a year. I really want to see what it looks like in reality. Haku thoughtfully said on the side, but, if we leave Hidden Leaf Village, wouldn't we not be able to learn more useful things from the ninja school? Hee, that's simple. Naruto grinned immediately. We can directly tie up Iruka-sensei, the third Hokage definitely won't mind. Haku laughed. Makes sense, Iruka-sensei definitely won't mind either. Then, Haku suddenly thought of something, and he added, can we also tie up another person? Naruto was surprised. Another one? Who? Haku smiled slightly. Neji-kun. Oh. Naruto suddenly realized. He clapped his hands. Indeed, we can also pull him in. Izumi Uchiha murmured with emotion, leaving Hidden Leaf Village. Speaking of which, I have never left Hidden Leaf Village once. The farthest place Izumi Uchiha has been to since she was a child. It might be when she went to the Forest of Death during the Chunin exam. And she suddenly thought, if she leaves Hidden Leaf Village, what should the survivors of the Uchiha clan do? Uzumaki Fuashi seemed to see Izumi Uchiha's hesitation and doubt. She smiled and said, The Moby Dick can accommodate more than 1,000 people. By then, just take all the survivors of the Uchiha clan away, wouldn't that be fine? Fuashi continued, after all, it's relatively dangerous for them to stay in Hidden Leaf Village, and they are likely to encounter Itachi Uchiha again. Instead of this, it's better to let them get on the ship with us. Izumi was surprised. Is this okay? Fuashi laughed. Pops won't mind these little details. Naruto became so powerful only after leaving Hidden Leaf Village for a year, right? Since the night of the clan annihilation when basically no one came to rescue the Uchiha clan, Sasuke has completely lost any feelings for the village. Sasuke clearly remembered that the only people who came to save the Uchiha clan were Pops and Kakashi. As for leaving Hidden Leaf Village, Sasuke didn't care. And Kakashi, who had just joined Whitebeard's pirate crew, naturally had no objections. After all, Kakashi was no longer a ninja of Hidden Leaf Village. There is no use staying in Hidden Leaf Village. Huh? Kakashi, are you guys preparing to leave Hidden Leaf Village? Guy was suddenly stunned. Doesn't that mean that you just joined Whitebeard's pirate crew, and you're leaving? Kakashi nodded. He responded. Since this is Pop's decision, we naturally have to leave Hidden Leaf Village tomorrow. Kakashi quickly assumed the identity of a member of Whitebeard's pirate crew, and also the identity of Whitebeard's son. When he said the word Pops, there was no hesitation at all. Guy, why don't you join us? Kisame suddenly came over and threw an olive branch to Guy. Being a free and easy pirate is better than being a restrained ninja, right? Kisame tempted him. The vast waves on the sea are more passionate than on land. Kisame's short sentence made Guy a little itchy. Guy swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and his thick eyebrows were all frowned. He was very conflicted. But after thinking about it, he still firmly shook his head. I still can't let go the grace of Hidden Leaf Village to raise me, and some expectations of my father before his death. Guy was conflicted for a long time. In the end, he still refused. He resisted the temptation. Huh? Wait. Shizune, who came to scrounge for food, suddenly realized something was wrong. She was dumbfounded and said to Tsunade, who was also drunk next to her. Tsunade-sama, we promised Naruto to cure Kimimaro, but if Whitebeard and them are going to leave Hidden Leaf Village, don't we have to go with them too? Tsunade-sama? Tsunade-sama? Huh? Shizune turned her head and saw that Tsunade-sama next to her was completely drunk and was sleeping on the table. There was a trace of crystal-clear saliva flowing from the corner of her mouth, and a strange silly smile hung on her drunken face. I don't know what kind of beautiful dream she was having. The entire Whitebeard pirate crew had no objections to leaving Hidden Leaf Village. After all, everyone didn't have much feelings for Hidden Leaf Village. Not to mention that this was the decision of the captain of Whitebeard's pirate crew. The crew unconditionally obeyed the captain's orders. This is reasonable. After the banquet ended, it was just noon. Whitebeard's pirate crew temporarily dispersed. Because before leaving Hidden Leaf Village, everyone had their own things to do. Izumi Uchiha found her good friend in Yuzuka Hana. Both of them are now Chunin of Hidden Leaf Village. Both of their names are also recorded in the Chunin list. It's just that the village's Chunin vest has not been issued yet. Huh? Izumi, are you leaving? Yuzuka Hana was stunned. Her reaction was exactly the same as Guy's before. Yes. Izumi showed a few smiles. She was also a bit reluctant. But since she became Pop's daughter, she would definitely have to set foot on the pirate crew and break the waves one day. This is my forehead protector. Izumi took off her Hidden Leaf Village forehead protector and solemnly handed it to her best friend. My time is a bit short and hurried. I don't know what kind of gift to give you. I'll give you my forehead protector. Izumi Uchiha smiled slightly. It has accompanied me through several life and death crises. I think it carries some luck. Yuzuka Hana took the forehead protector, feeling a bit sour in her nose. Then when will you probably come back? You will come back, right? Izumi laughed and said, silly, I will definitely come back. But she did not answer the question of when will you come back. Wait, Izumi. Yuzuka Hana also took off her forehead protector. She put Izumi's forehead protector on her own forehead, and then put her own forehead protector on Izumi's forehead. It's done. Yuzuka Hana laughed, showing a small tiger tooth. This way, as long as we see the forehead protector, we can think of each other. Today's Hyuga clan residence. A little guest came. In theory, for the relatively conservative ninja clan like the Hyuga clan, if someone accidentally enters the Hyuga clan residence, they will ask the other party to leave. But there's no way. This little guest's identity is a bit special. The other party is Whitebeard's son. The people in the Hyuga clan can only pretend that they didn't see anything. Neji-kun, do you still think that the cage of destiny cannot be broken? Haku stroked his wind-blown hair at his temples, smiled at Neji Hyuga. If you are given a chance to break the cage, would you choose to break the cage that imprisoned you and become a free bird? Neji didn't know what the situation was when Haku personally came to ask this question. But he thought about it, and still nodded. His little face was very serious. If there is such an opportunity, I will definitely grasp it firmly. This period of experience has changed Neji's thinking a lot. Haku's credit is naturally the greatest. Haku's smile became even brighter. Then are you willing to leave Hidden Leaf Village, leave the Hyuga clan, join the Whitebeard pirates, and become a bird that can freely soar in the sea? Haku threw a very accurate straight ball at Neji. A short sentence made Neji stay on the spot. Because the Whitebeard pirates are about to leave Hidden Leaf Village. Haku explained, the opportunity to break the destiny is only today. Haku's arrival is to invite Neji to join the Whitebeard pirates. Or to say, this is not a simple invitation. Because the next second, Haku added a sentence, I forgot to remind you, Neji-kun. You who have not yet joined the Whitebeard pirates, still do not have the ability to control your own destiny. The meaning is, if Neji-kun refuses my invitation, I will personally take action to invite you on the ship. Haku's smile was a bit cunning. First, he is a pirate of the Whitebeard pirates. Only then is he Neji's friend. Chapter 234, Shocking Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto, Iruka-sensei's abduction plan successfully implemented. In the Akimeki clan's barbecue shop. Naruto, Shikamaru, Chaji, the three kids gathered together. Huh? Chaji felt that the grilled meat in his hand was not so fragrant, and the grilled meat he was chewing in his mouth was quite tasteless. He stared at Naruto in front of him with wide eyes. Naruto, are you guys going to leave Hidden Leaf Village tomorrow and prepare to go to sea? Chaji quickly swallowed the grilled meat in his mouth, then stuffed the grilled meat in his hand into his mouth, and then counted with his greasy fingers. At this moment, Chaji's already wide eyes widened even more. Naruto, you've only been back to Hidden Leaf Village for less than 3 months. I counted, it seems to be just about 2 months, right? Shikamaru propped his cheek with one hand, then looked at Naruto in front of him. He couldn't help but sigh. Is this the freedom of being a pirate? Go wherever you want, I'm a bit envious. Haha. If you're envious, you can come with me. Naruto laughed after hearing this. Our Whitebeard pirate crew's Moby Dick is very welcoming to you guys. Pops is also just missing 2 sons from you guys. Naruto, in order to pull people for Whitebeard's pirate crew, actually extended his magic claws to Nara Shikamaru and Akimeki Chaji. Shikamaru twitched at the corner of his mouth. He shook his head. Forget it, if my father and mom knew ran to join your pirate crew, I would be miserable. Shikamaru couldn't help but shiver. He's not very afraid of his own father, but he's very afraid of his mom. If his mom knew that he didn't become a ninja but ran to be a pirate, I'm afraid there will be a flying bamboo stick come to his head. Then Sasuke, Haku, Karen, Hinata, aren't the 4 of them also leaving? Plus you, Naruto, our class suddenly lost 5 people. Chaji's mood was a little bit lost. Not 5, it's 6 people. Naruto mysteriously said. Chaji was suddenly a bit surprised. 6 people? Who else could there be? Hey, you'll know tomorrow. After a delicious barbecue, Naruto ran to find Lee again. He also considered Lee as his good friend. Naruto held a scroll in his hand and solemnly handed it to Lee. Lee scratched his head in astonishment, took it with a puzzled face. Naruto, what is this? This is considered a gift for you before parting. Naruto laughed. I know you said your ninjutsu talent is almost 0, so, I think you should develop in the direction of taijutsu. This is the Hidden Leaf Village style taijutsu that I had Kakashi and Shizue transcribe, many of which are only known by Jonin-level ninjas. Hearing these words, Lee was stunned. He felt that the scroll he was holding, in the blink of an eye, became the most precious treasure in the world. Lee's voice was a bit shaky. This is too precious, right? Can this really be given to me as a gift? Haha, definitely. Naruto laughed. Lee, I hope when I return to the village next time, you will become a very powerful ninja. Lee was so moved that tears streamed down his face, and his mucus was about to flow out. He quickly wiped his tears and sniffed his nose. Lee immediately straightened his waist and said seriously to Naruto. Naruto, I won't let you down. Even if I don't have ninjutsu talent, I will become an excellent Hidden Leaf Village ninja. When you come back next time, you will see a Rock Lee with a Hidden Leaf Village forehead protector. Lee was moved by Naruto's gift, and a strong impulse to become stronger surged in his heart. He doesn't want to let Naruto down. Because Naruto is his only friend in Hidden Leaf Village. He wants Naruto to see his new self when he returns to the village next time. Ha ha ha. Good. Naruto patted Lee on the shoulder. I have high hopes for you. After all, you are one of my future Hokage assistants that I have planned. One of the Hokage's assistants, Lee, with teary eyes, was taken aback again. I am going to be the future Hokage of Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto laughed. Of course I need a lot of assistants. Lee was even more moved, so Naruto valued him so much. Uchiha clan residence. Sasuke doesn't have many friends in Hidden Leaf Village. Those who can be considered friends are all in the Whitebeard Pirates. At this moment, he was standing quietly inside the Uchiha clan residence.